The games are about to begin. You're watching Butler Esports.
Welcome back to the grand finals here between Purdue and Ball State. Ball State will be the higher seed since they came from the winner side. We'll have side select. I'm excited to get into this game and see what happens here. This should be a fun, high energy, high speed game.
Yep, and I believe Ball State is on the blue side here.
Yep.
And so we do see the Gragas ban. We're actually getting the Ivern ban as well. And we do see that Draven ban coming out. And for Ball State, it's pretty similar. Getting Silk's Fiora out of the way. Getting Skarner out of the pool. Getting Ziggs out of the pool. So kind of a mix of comfort and just what's good right now. Vex is interesting.
Yeah, one thing you know to be true in any collegiate game is you always ban one tricks. So far, we know Silk might not be a one trick, but they consider him a Fiora one trick. Otherwise, you're not banning Fiora.
Yeah.
And we have seen Satcom's Gragas is one trick level. I'm not going to say it's a one trick. I don't know these OP.GGs and stuff, what they really play, but it was one trick level, so you ban that. So it's not surprised to see those banned. The Jax here could be a really good pick. Has a tough time into the Vex. Really strong champion that Silk's Flannel likes a lot. The Vi, Ahri. This looks like a classic BLG draft coming out of Ball State here.
Yeah, and these are picks that Ball State is just really comfortable with. They've done historically very well on. I like the Vex pick. I don't know if I would consider the champion very strong, but I certainly think it's underutilized by a lot of teams, and so I like it especially into that Jax, like you mentioned.
Xayah into Ahri too. It's good to Ahri.
Oh yeah, for her ult dashes. Xayah going to be immediately locked in here for Ball State with an Ezreal in response. We've seen both these AD carries pretty much all tournament. Chum Slugs shown his prowess on Xayah. Ezreal's performed very, very well. I like what I'm seeing so far from both these drafts.
That Ezreal-Xayah matchup is always an interesting one for me because I always hear from different AD carries, Ezreal wins it, no Xayah wins it, no Ezreal wins it, no Xayah. I never actually know who wins it, so I love seeing it locked in because it always seems like both AD carries think they win it and they play like they do, which means you'll see a lot of 1v1s for no reason, a lot of weird 2v2s. It's always fun to see Ezreal-Xayah matchup. Seeing the Karma band away from having that Ezreal-Karma duo and Quokka.
I don't know. It changes a lot during Ball State broadcasts.
Quokka. Okay.
But we usually try and stick with Quokka, yes.
Quokka's Pike, which I think are good bands, and the Poppy, interesting band actually for Purdue. I kind of would have liked to see the Poppy top here from Purdue, but they are just going to take the Rakan away from the Lovers duo, which makes sense because they banned Braum. Because actually, why'd they ban Braum if they wanted Rakan? I actually don't know.
Yeah, the Braum ban feels a bit odd to me. Rel going to be locked in because of that denied Rakan. I really like Xayah Rel duo. I played it quite a bit. So I'm the AD carry who says, oh, I like Leona even more, actually. Please lock that one in. I think that would be really, really strong into this. But yeah, I'm the AD carry main who says I think Xayah wins this Ezreal matchup. I don't know. I always fight Ezreal when I'm playing Xayah. I think it usually works out pretty well. So I'm going to give my vote to Ball State's bot lane on this one. Vi being hovered, I'd like to see that locked in as well.
Wukong, I like the Vi more, a little bit easier lockdown onto the Ezreal, but both are good. They do what you want if you are the Ball State comp. They're going to end up going for the Vi here, which I think is fine. I think it's really good to have that cease and assist into the Ezreal. You can pair it with the Leona Solar Flare on top. The Malphite here, okay.
They really just don't want Jax doing anything in top lane, I guess.
No.
It's going to be a very boring lane up there.
Yeah, the R5 Malphite. I mean, Ball State doesn't have a ton of AP damage in the Ahri, but Wombat Baby has been shown to be incredibly proficient on this champion. Not just today, in the multiple years that he has been at this competition. His Ahri is always incredible. Every single time he plays this champ, he is one of the strong points of the game.
Yeah, Ahri's not the highest AP damage, but Wombat Baby is certainly no slouch on that Ahri. I just find the Malphite pick very interesting. You're kind of just neutralizing your top lane, and it is going to be a huge pain for the Xayah in particular. But I feel like, Xayah has a lot of tools to escape that Malphite ult. There's a lot of counter engage that Ball State can throw at it. I feel like any engage from Malphite might easily backfire from the side of Purdue here.
Yeah, but the Xayah also has a lot of threats on her outside of the Malphite. You know, the Vex ult, the Rakan charm, his grand entrance, Viego just in general, if he gets to steal Jax's body, if he gets a flank, something like that. There's a lot of threats on her, but you're absolutely right. She has a lot of tools to make this game hard for Purdue. It's another one of these games where it's hard to say which comp is actually better or who we favor because they both have very clear identities and a lot of tools to play the game, and it's all going to come down to which one uses those tools better.
Yeah, in the case of this Ezreal and Xayah in particular, I think it's do you have the hands to dodge all of this lockdown that's going to be flying your way? Both of them have shown that I think they do, at least. This mid lane matchup is going to be interesting because, like you said, Vex, I feel like, is going to be pretty good into Ahri. It's going to make her ulting a lot harder. But this is Wombat Baby Ahri.
Yeah, it is Wombat Baby Ahri. The big thing about the Vex Ahri matchup is that Vex gets shove early, which allows her to play with her jungler. And oftentimes that's what Ahri wants to do. She wants to be having shove or being able to move to her jungler quickly. And Vex really stops you from being able to do that. So if he is able to use the Vex's strengths and shut down Wombat Baby's Ahri, it'll be very good for Purdue. But like you said, it's Wombat Baby's Ahri. Like, he is very good at this. He doesn't care his matchup. He doesn't care what's going on in the game. He's going to play his champ, and he's going to play it well.
Yeah, I know Wombat Baby, I'm sure, knows this matchup. So I think we're going to be seeing a lot of activity mid from both these junglers trying to get these mid laners ahead. Again, there's the Xayah Rakan, or not the Xayah Rakan, the Xayah Ezreal bot lane matchup. Like you said, there's going to be a lot of random 1v1s down here. I know I would try to do the same thing if I was playing a Xayah into the Rakan. And the thing that's just tripping me up is this Malphite. I think it's a bit of an odd pick. I don't know. I'm trying to think of who else I would put in the top lane outside of Malphite. But I mean, I don't hate it. It just surprised me, I guess.
It's good into the Jax in theory, but seeing Silk Flannel play today, seeing him play like the past couple years that he's been here, he doesn't really seem to ever care about playing into the tank matchup, even if in theory it's not good. He just is constantly up in your face. He's going to shove his wave. He's going to call his jungler when he needs. He just plays a really smart game. But the Malphite is kind of what Purdue needed. They needed some surefire engage. They needed some beef. And they needed something that could survive against the Jackson lane if they want to play their patent weak side top, everybody go bot lane. So it makes some sense in that regard, but you're right. It's not very good into the Xayah. It's not very good into the Ahri if she has any hands, which, as we know, Wombat Baby does.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have much value outside of lane into Jax.
Yeah, I'd be happy to be proven wrong, obviously. I just worry about that maybe not being the greatest pick, but we will be getting into game, I believe, fairly shortly.
Yep.
And so I guess we'll find out. We'll see how it goes.
And as we learned from last game, if Purdue are the chefs in the kitchen, you're okay eating what they cook.
Yeah.
Last game, they made a absolute banger meal. It tasted great. It was phenomenal. You know, they put their heart and soul into it, sweated away in the kitchen, and was good as nadas. I mean, it was very nice to see what they did last game with that comp that I, like I said, had no faith in. And now I see this comp, and I'm like, oh, it's a little weird. Purdue's probably going to play this well.
Yeah, I agree. I'm excited to see how it plays out. I remember thinking last time, I was dubious, and then Purdue won with that comp as well. So hopefully they'll be able to make something happen. But as we get into game here, 30 seconds until those minions spawn, the Malphite taking that Arcane Comet. So this is really just going to be a pretty passive Malphite lane. Phantom just going to be opting for that Q poke.
To set the stage a little, Game 1, Grand Finals, Ball State coming from the winner's side of the bracket, have not played a game of League in maybe an hour and a half now, and Purdue is coming from losing their second round matchup out through the loser's bracket to come to this game. Pressure is on, and as we saw from the last game, Purdue thrives when under pressure. We're not seeing anything happening here in level 1, which has been the theme of all day. Every team has been completely happy to 5-point, maybe get a ward down to try and see where they're at early, but nobody has really put any massive thoughts and massive plans into level 1.
Yeah, and I think we're getting a pause here, is what it looks like. Might be some kind of technical issue. This might be a bit.
Mouse
of a
Excel
bad
was
omen.
on. Mouse
Oh.
Excel was on for somebody on the side of Purdue. Didn't get to see who it was, but it shouldn't be too long of a change to fix that. Should be real quick. Like I said, yeah, it was just a Mouse Excel issue, and we should be good now.
Yeah, here we are. No harm, no foul. Getting right back into the swing of things. Being this early push, bot lane, and keep your eyes on that mid lane in particular, because that's going to be where a lot of the early action will be happening.
Wombat Baby is already getting the push. I'm assuming the Vex must have started E in this matchup. A lot of Vex start E in general, but I think in this matchup specifically, it's better to start Q, trying to test that level 1 fighting power, you know, with the lower cooldown on your Q, but probably went the E, which means she loses some push. Expect to see some push back into the RA around that level 3, level 4.
Yeah, and we already saw Quokka went for a really early engage there, but Leona, he did not quite connect, falling just short. Meanwhile, as we said, it's not good. There's not going to be much happening up in this top lane. It's a Malphite lane. You're not really expected to make any magic happen up there. And I said look for some early mid action, but it appears that both these teams are just kind of content to farm, get some levels, and just wait for the right opening.
Yeah, and both mid laners actually had a Raptor ward that spotted out the opponent jungle's pathing, so both teams have full knowledge on where these junglers are. Purdue knows for a fact that Ball State's jungler is topside, and Ball State knows for a fact that Purdue's jungler is bot side. I expect this to happen in some of these games. Is what we're about to see is both of these side lanes that are weak side, just let the wave come into them, lose the scuttle, play this a little bit slower, and this is exactly what we were kind of talking about. Silk Flannel is okay with that. He's going to be up in your face, he's going to be shoving this wave, and he's going to have his jungler topside when he needs it, and this bot lane is going to go kind of either way because both AD carries, for some reason, like this matchup.
Yes, indeed, and looks like we're just be playing safe here. Oh, but Samsung is going to try and make something happen, and here comes the re-engage from Quokka. Oh, that was almost really, really bad here for the side of Purdue, but we see Eugene lurking. Now, Gumayuchi only has, actually really has almost no mana, but here comes Quokka with the engage. Saknam is just going to get out, and the appearance of Eugene is going to stop anything from happening. Quokka will tank the ignite, but other than that, not much going on there. A forced reset here from the bot.
Yeah, Purdue's bot lane just wanted to get some pressure in there, maybe force a long enough extended trade that they can weaken them for a potential dive. Ball State's bot lane did not give it to him, knowing that Viego was on the bot side of the map. They played it safe, you know, didn't get too weak so they could get dove. Really well played there, really smart, visceral gameplay from there. Remy on the Vi went ahead and put a ward on Viego's Raptor, so they're going to know, again, exactly where Viego is the whole time he's pathing. And it looks like Wombat Baby or somebody got a really deep ward past the Raptors as well.
Yeah, the vision game coming in here from Ball State is really strong. And this is setting them up to maybe try and contest Dragon if they can predict this pathing properly. Saknam gonna roam mid. Wombat Baby just gonna disengage. 0 kills for both these teams so far. I think once this Dragon spawns, that we're gonna really start to see those sparks fly.
There's a good chance we also just see straight up cross mapping here from Dragons to Grubs. It looks like Viego's going to help Malphite get a shove out. I doubt they try and dive that Jax with his counter strike.
Oh, and here's that random one you were talking about. Chumpslog going to be going on Gumayuchi, but is all alone. Gumayuchi misses all his skill shots, but Chumpslog is still very low. Quokka and Remy here are coming in for the re-engage. Flash from Quokka, the son of Gumayuchi. Forces the cleanse out, forces the flash out for Gumayuchi. But first blood will go to Remy. Chumpslog taken so low. Saknam knocks him up, and AZ will take down Chumpslog. But AZ is not taken very low as Wombat Baby has decided to join the fray and then knock up on the Saknam as AZ is just run down by Wombat Baby. Saknam is stunned, but just barely manages to dash out. A Ball State favored engage that they might be able to convert to Dragon, although I think they're just gonna reset, play that one a bit more safe.
That was clean footwork on the beginning of that from Chumslog to not have to use any sum, dodged out on the Grand Entrance, took a little bit of damage, not enough to really be threatened in the 1v2. And that was just great gameplay. Very high confidence play here from the 80 carry on the side of Ball State, which is exactly what you want in a high pressure game as this grand finals. On the other side of it, we saw Viego cross map, steal some camps away from Vi, which is going to set Vi a little bit behind, assuming that there are, we are seeing
Oh, yeah, here comes the engage from Eugene. He's just forced to flash away, and Ball State just cut a lot of prio topside. I think he's going to go straight for the Void Grubs here.
Yeah, and Viego's probably going to go down to his top bot camps, get those 2 camps, extend his individual lead on Vi, but that lead has been moved into the mid lane.
Jump Slug gets a huge root on the second up. Second up forced to run away, and Gumayushi taking quite a bit of damage as well. Wow, you said Jump Slug plays with confidence, and you certainly were not kidding. Very well done, E, here, as we have the Void okay. Phantom flashes over the wall and just gets caught out by Poka. Anyway, Wombat Baby running that map fight down. The Charmlands and the Phantom forced to just ult away. Void Grubs still in possession of Ball State. Eugene, meanwhile, making that cross map play.
So you might also try and go for the dragon on this cross map. Like I said, we're going to see it. Oh, Chumslog is level 6, so this 1v1 definitely favors him. But we are going to see the cross map here. Eugene is putting himself a little bit ahead in the camp number because every camp taken away is +4 for you, -4 for the enemy jungler. But Remy is very smart, knows the game very well. Is going to go ahead and take Eugene's red buff on the other side of the map.
Yep, and Ball State did secure those Void Grubs, and in return, Purdue will secure that Ocean Drake, just playing it cross map. Compared to the other games that we've seen from Purdue, from Ball State, this is comparatively far less bloody. Both these teams playing it very, very carefully, very macro heavy.
Which is what you need to be doing right now. You don't want to let the game come down to coin flips. You don't need to let the game... Oh, we're gonna...
Oh, Poka landed through the shit, but
Saknam
Saknam manages to knock up Jump Slug, and there's just simply... I mean, that's kind of it. Just a bit of a handshake there as the CC hits both the AD carries. Not much that either can do.
That Leona route went so far because it followed the arcane shift. I did not think Quokka expected to go that far. Saknam had a nice grand entrance to stop Chumslog from having any follow-up there, especially since the Ezreal didn't have cleanse. If Saknam was a little bit worse at the game, you know, he grand entrances onto the Leona, and then that fight goes extremely different, but he's smart, stopped the Xayah from being able to enter, and it went okay, like nothing happened. But this is what you need in this type of game. You need to be playing slow League of Legends. Let it come to you. Don't make mistakes. Just play what is being in front of you. Don't try and take too much. Don't try and not do anything at all. And both of these teams are playing it really smart to the strength of their team.
Yeah, I mean, the gold lead is almost non-existent. It's really just there because Ball State has that kill up. Both these teams just want to play it close to the chest, want to get to that first item, just find a good opportunity for a team fight. There's no neutral objectives right now. There's no reason to go for any random skirmish or anything like that. Like you said, nice, slow League of Legends, just focusing on those fundamentals, just getting that CS up, just biding your time.
We're also seeing a little bit of a CS lead in every single lane for the side of Ball State mid lane. 2 CS, basically even. That lane doesn't matter, but a nice 12, 13 CS lead in the top lane, 10 CS lead in the bot lane, and that's not including these waves that they're both about to catch.
Oh, Quokka is caught out here as Saknam gets the knock-up, and Quokka forced to flash away, that Ignite ticking down. Chumpslug trying to walk up, but there is just simply nothing to be done. Eugene will pick up that kill, and this could be a dive on the Chumpslug, but the wave is not in a good position. And Purdue, it looks like they're just going to back off, as Remy is potentially here for that re-engage, but Purdue, they got what they came for. They got a kill. They're just going to back off.
Vi was also on her way down there, so really smart from Purdue to not make that trade last too long. You know, they got their win. Take your small win. Get out. Don't make a play when the play has already been made. So Plano's going to jump with Counter-Strike. Is going to use his Grandmaster's something, I forget the name of that ability, to fight and try and get this wave in so that you can get a nice reset without having to expend his TP.
Oh, Quokka is going to get the stun on the Saknam there. Quokka just kind of goes for these. It's really interesting to watch. He's constantly hex flashing, constantly engaging, keeping that enemy bot lane on their toes. Not much really gained for it. Just gives Chumpslug a bit more breathing room to get that under tower farm.
And we're starting to see as well why these people pick these champions. They're very comfortable on them. Silk Flannel's a very... Oh, Wombat Baby goes in on A's, gets charmed and feared away. Is not going to be able to have any follow-up. If he didn't get feared there and had to cease and desist from Vi, that might have been a dead Vex on our screen. But because of A's playing that really well with the fear, is staying alive.
Yep. We said it was Snow League of Legends, and we weren't kidding. The minute Wombat Baby knew that he couldn't secure that kill, ooh, that was a interesting Ezreal ult there. Maybe trying to get Chumslug low, weaken that Zaya up to be diveable. Unfortunately, Chumslug isn't quite hit by it. Void Grubs have spawned. We already have Remy topside taking them. Ball State looks to take these Void Grubs completely uncontested.
There's not much of a cross map to be had on the other side of the map. I mean, they might try and fight these grubs. They do know Ari's not there, but she does have TP. They are going to see that TP since it is on a control ward. Cease and desist is going to come down on A's Vex right now. There is no ultimate from Ari. The charm comes in. It's not going to be able to save him. Sakam is on to Wombat Baby, who doesn't have ult. The Malphite ult comes down. Viego's going to get the first kill onto Ari. The charm is going to connect to the Vi, but do they have enough damage to follow up? No. But they stop, I think, 6 grubs, or did they end up getting all 6 grubs before that play?
I guess we'll find out. Whoa, wait, they were still going here. Quokka taken super low. Eugene was hungry for more. That was almost a kill onto the Leona. And this fight might still be ongoing. Quokka is hanging around, lurking, maybe looking for that opening. Silk, meanwhile, is just trying to deny this tower play. Unfortunately, doesn't quite manage to do so. And it looks like they did not get all 6 grubs, so Ball State only has 5.
So they were able to get one of them, which is nice for the side of Purdue. You need to make sure you're always getting something on the map. Taking the red buff, getting the kills, the 1-for-1, really nice. As Dragon is up, they might try and play for it. They do have TP from Vex, and Jax does not have TP advantage. They should definitely play for this Dragon with this TP advantage.
Yeah, it's going to be huge if Purdue can get this Dragon, because getting that 2-Dragon lead over Ball State is really going to put the pressure onto BSU, and BSU knows that you can see them posturing for this Dragon right now, and they're actually just going to be starting it straight out. I don't know if Purdue's expecting this. Yeah, Remy's just taking the Dragon.
Yeah, I think Purdue messed up the macro there a little bit. They had full control of the bot side of the map when they took the red buff, and they could have played into Dragon with mid-prio. They have the TP advantage. They could have just given up a plate or 2 in top lane against this Jax.
Gumayushi gets caught out, is forced to cleanse, and Gumayushi is looking very, very low. Wombat Baby coming in, that Leona ultimate will hit, but here's the not the TP, rather, here's Eugene coming in. The Vex ult will find absolutely nobody, and that is a shutdown onto the Viego. Saknom also looking pretty low, but you know who else is low? That's Zaya, as Chumslug goes down. Saknom, 1 HP, is killed by Wombat Baby, but the shutdown onto the Vi, and Quokka is just running for his life, but there is nowhere to run. Double kill for the Vex. Silk is just hammering away at that tower, trying to get something, and will get that tower. First turret going to Ball State. Silk will die for the cause.
I think he's okay with that. That's a lot of gold there from the tower. I mean, it ends up being a 5-for-3, I believe, which both teams are kind of okay with, especially since Ball State ended up getting the tower on the back end of that. It's probably a pretty even gold trade, and is why you see the even gold at literally a 100 gold difference. But what this does change is it changes the tempo of the game. Unless Gumayuki can get this mid tower here, now Ball State has a different level of control on the map to enter into these side lanes, enter into these jungles through this mid lane with that tower being down. While they're taking the Herald here, I don't think there's much of a contest here since Zaya's bot lane.
Yeah, that's just going to be a pretty free Herald there for the side of Purdue. But Ball State has so much access to all of Summoner's Rift right now. It's, like you said, tempo is everything in the league here, and that's even going to be a bot tower tier 1 being taken by Chumslug as well. So Ball State's going to quickly pick up 2 towers. I'd happily give up a Rift Herald for that, although that mid tower will fall as the Herald is dropped there.
And what we just saw there too, when Zaya was taking that bot tower, hold on on that bot for a second while we're having a fight here in top lane. That looks like it might be some damage stat padding, but there's something going on in the mid lane.
Oh my goodness, Saknom going in for a massive ult. Quokka going to go into Gumayushi. Gumayushi is trying to get out, but Chumslug is there with open waiting arms. The Malphite ult flying in. That was not the Malphite ult, that was the Rakan, and I just thought Malphite had teleported mid somehow. but
The free kill there for the
Yeah.
side of Ball State. But what I was going to say is, as we've seen today, Ball State is a really smart team, a really good team, right? And Purdue notices that and respects it. While Zaya was taking that bot tower, A's was forced to stand super far away, scared of the dive because they had no vision on Vi at all. And he just assumed that Ball State's going to make the correct play and cross map it. But Vi was not incorrectly on her Gromp, but taking her Gromp. So A's was really not threatened at all and didn't have to give up that tower because he probably wasn't going to be able to die to the dive. But because of how good Ball State is and how they're normally always in the right spot, they might have mind gamed it and have something right there where they're like, oh, he's going to have to back off this tower. But we're seeing this macro side of League of Legends in this game where both teams understand what is happening on the map, and it means that this game is going to be a chess game between these two teams.
Yep, and so far Ball State will take that slight advantage. The game is still fairly even gold-wise, but that extra tower means Ball State has a bit more wiggle room in terms of what they can accomplish on Summoner's Rift. No neutral objective is spawning at the moment, and I think we're just going to be kind of seeing these waves ping-pong back and forth while they wait for this dragon to come up, while they wait for that Baron to come up, because after all, there's no reason to sort of fight uselessly here.
Yeah, these lull states are oftentimes boring because it is ping-ponging waves back and forth, but it's a fight for vision constantly. As we see from the side of Purdue, they have a couple of wards kind of deep into the jungle of Ball State so that they know where these map movements are coming from. Are they going to Raptors? Are they moving back top? Are they contesting this dragon? They're going to constantly have this. And something we haven't talked much about was we were both kind of doubters of this Malphite. And the Malphite's currently 3-0-3 and might become nigh unkillable in this game where there's a lot of AD damage and the AP damage isn't the strongest.
Yeah, we were both kind of raising our eyebrows, but Malphite is going to be a huge problem for this Zaya especially. She's going to have to invest in that Lord Doms. That Jax is going to struggle into the Malphite. Again, it is just sort of relying on Wombat Baby to deal a lot of damage to the Malphite, and I mean, it's an Ahri, right? Wombat Baby's building Malignance, building Zonya's Hourglass. There's not a ton that you can really do with that. That Malphite's going to have too high an HP pool.
I don't think Purdue should contest this dragon. They have lost all tempo and control over this river and this mid lane, and they are down TP on top side. Unless they can delay it long enough for Malphite to get his TP or to walk straight down here, it's kind of a hard contest. I would have liked to see them move into the top side, move their vision from bot side into that top jungle, and just play for this tier 2 top, even out the towers, get some of this gold standing on the map, and make it a little bit of a cleaner game. But Malphite, they said no, we're going to delay the dragon, which was really well played, and then move the Malphite down. Now this TP's back up. If this fight goes right or awry, they can TP back top lane, but it looks like Ball State's just going to give this dragon.
Yep, just going to take that tier 1 top tower instead, and I like that from Ball State. You see the Malphite coming down, you know he probably has TP, or at least is going to be very close to it. No reason to try and force a fight here. You get something out of this, right? You get that tier 1 top turret. Just play it safe, play it slow. There are more dragons that will spawn eventually.
Yeah, Ball State ended up going the way that I thought Purdue was going to be forced to go. If Ball State there fights for that dragon, I think they win the fight early enough before Malphite can get there because they have the TP advantage. But they're more than happy to play on the gold. I mean, they scale really well. They have the Zaya, they have the Jax that can play on the side lane. Opening up the map, getting all 3 of these tier 1s down really allows them to have a lot of movement around the map. They're a very smart team. They're going to be able to play with these TPs and with this Ahri and with this Jax on these side lanes. So I don't mind them dropping that dragon. I was just saying it could have gone the other way, and Purdue could be in this position where now they're the ones with the towers taken down, a little bit more of the map. So it's coming down to how these teams think they want to win. Purdue wants to win through the team fights. They want to play for soul. They want to force you into these fights, and Ball State is more than happy to play the side lane game.
Yeah, especially with that Jax who has all that pushing power and has that Trinity Force to be able to laser down towers if Purdue is not careful about it. Speaking of items, that Malphite now has the Canic Rooker and already looking uncomfortably tanky for the members of Ball State. This Malphite's going to be a real problem, just completely ignoring Silk and is just going to take no damage, take the tower. Have a nice day, Silk.
Silk is a really good player, like I said earlier, but it does not matter in the face of Malphite, who will stand there and say, I am a rock, I am not moving.
Absolutely. And we are again seeing this pressure on that tier 1 bot side turret. Silk. Ooh, Silk says, well, Malphite, I'm going to make you move. Phantom is still taking almost no damage. Both Remy and Silk are trying to take this Malphite down. And now here comes Chum Slog as well. The lockdown from the buy. And that is a nice shutdown going to the person you want that gold on. That being Chum Slog, your AD carry, of course. Not a lot that Ball State can convert off of that, although as I say that, they are posturing to maybe look for a skirmish here in this topside river.
It sucks to lose the shutdown to the Xayah, but I don't think it really matters all that much. You end up getting Silk Flannel's flash, and you end up getting bot tower. In plays like this, what ends up happening is in the moment, Ball State is the winner. Without a doubt, in the moment, Ball State wins off that play. But let's say in 3 minutes or 2 minutes if this dragon, Jax dies because he doesn't have flash. In the long play, Purdue wins that play. If they end up being able to get pressure bot lane into that tier 2 for whatever reason, because they had tier 1 and Jax doesn't have flash, they are the winner. What happened right there was Ball State put resources into killing Malphite. Purdue got a lesser trade on the other side, but now those resources that they put into Malphite are not going to be there in a minute and a half, and that is going to be coming down to who actually wins that play is going to come down in a minute and a half at this next dragon to see what happens with this Jax not having flash.
Yeah, and in the meantime, everyone is once again going to kind of enter that lull period, just trying to get the gold to farm up those items. Xayah approaching that 3 item. Most everybody here has their 2 item core, excluding the supports. We're starting to enter the mid game now, and this is where fights are going to become much more chaotic and much more important. Like you said, that Jax not having flash could wind up being disastrous for Ball State. Or who knows, maybe that Lord Doms that the Xayah just got would be have just enough stats to help win this next upcoming fight. But I agree, this dragon's coming up in just over a minute, and this is where we're going to see the tide of the game dramatically turn for either Ball State or Purdue here.
This is a moment where both teams need to click tab as well to see what the other team has. Vex has a stopwatch. You can't commit too hard onto her with the cease and desist or the solar flare or something along those lines because it's just going to get stopwatch. Ahri has the stopwatch. You do not want to be Malphite ulting this Ahri right now. And Xayah has 3 items. With Xayah being 3 items, it might be worth it for Purdue to say, okay, you know what, this dragon's gone. We're going to move our vision topside. We're going to play for this Baron. And maybe we do something that they saw in the last game where they're just going to start this Baron and say, hey, every time you move to dragon, we're going to try and kill this Baron. If you stay too long on dragon and take it, the Baron's going to be the trade on the other side of the map. It's a very, very high-level game so far where both these teams are going to have to make a decision on how to play this.
Yeah, oh, and Phantom might just be willing to go in here. No, not quite. He's just going to back off there. I saw the blast cone and thought this is where the Dynamite's fuse would start, but not quite yet. This dragon is coming up in just 2 seconds, however. We're just waiting on a knife's edge.
Yeah, and we have no TP on Ahri. Vex did push that top wave in, so there are going to be some advantage there for the side of Purdue. They are going to...
And here's the first engage onto Remy, gets stunned, and uses the cease and desist to just try and get out. Has to commit flash as well. This is not a good start for Ball State. quickly going to get stunned. Going to get knocked up. Wombat Baby is here. The Vex ult will connect, and that's a pretty dead look on the Leona. The ult will stun, but it is not going to be enough. Eugene will take down Poker. The dragon is already being started by the side of Purdue. Ball State backing off. I don't think they're really in any position to contest this, and that is just going to be the dragon going right to Purdue.
Yeah, that was really well played by Purdue. They saw Vi caught out in the river because they had better vision on the map, and they had pushed topside, so they knew Vex was walking down towards the dragon, and somebody from Ball State had to answer that mid prio, and somebody had to answer that top prio. Nobody ended up going all the way top, but because Purdue knew that people had to go answer those lanes, someone had to be prio. As soon as they saw Vi by herself in river, they pulled the trigger. It ended up getting Qualka died for it in the end, but that's what you need to do as Purdue. As soon as you see something is awry, this guy's not in the right place, pull the trigger, take the fight. You have all these strong ultimates, all these strong champs that are very good at killing one champion if you need it and turning that into an objective.
Yeah, and now Ball State, right? That Chemtech Soul is going to be putting some serious pressure on them. They can't just let that slip away. This next dragon is going to be so important. Ball State setting up some vision control in this top side, seeing if they can maybe try and get a Baron play happening. But with the clock ticking down on that Dragon, I feel like that play is going to happen soon, within the next 2 odd minutes, if they want any chance of denying Soul here.
And all solo laners have TP currently, which makes this Baron a very difficult endeavor for whoever chooses to do it. Whenever everybody has TP, what can happen is one team might start the Baron to try and get Jax to TP top, and hold that thought because we are seeing the counter-strike on the Malphite.
Phantom is caught out as Koka is going to land the stun, but again, this is a Malphite. It's just not going to take that much damage, and the ult from Ezreal coming in. The ult from Malphite coming in as well. Koka finding himself once again caught out. AD doesn't quite land the Vex ult, but is still on a killing spree. Silk, low HP, is charmed by the flash R from the Rakan. Is looking for a counter-strike, hits absolutely nobody. Force commit flash himself, manages to leap away. Oh, and Saknam just barely misses the Jax, but now it is Remy who needs to run for his life. He does not have flash. The charm from Wombat Baby will slow down Phantom's assault, but Quokka once again falls when Ball State is caught out. Ball State maybe looking for a re-engage here, but ultimately both teams just gonna back off.
Yeah, I think Silk got just a tiny bit of ahead of himself. He knew Leona was moving down. He knew Vi was there, but he did not expect the 4-man core of Purdue to be there behind the Malphite. There was a little bit of disgusting League of Legends play there, which is always fun to see. Maybe the nerves are getting to him, missing the Malphite.
Oh, and here is the engage onto Gumayushi there. Forced to flash away, forced to shift away, and is still so low HP. Chump Slug on a killing spree. This is pretty big, as the rest of Purdue just needs to run away. Saknam, he got to jump away, but he manages to do so. But Ball State just completely took control of this river. It doesn't even matter if Saknam dies, but I think he is going to die here. Rakan mobility is pretty slippery, but yeah, does die. The TP even being committed by the side of Purdue. And here comes the engage. Eugene is just absolutely demolished there by Chumslog. It is a 4-item Xayah after all. And just like that, Ball State get the Baron and an enemy teleport.
This is what Ball State is so good at. When they need to make a play to win, they have the tools to do it, and they understand what they need to do. They realized that Ezreal was too far up. They got the Vi-Ari combo on top of him, got the charm, got his sums out, and then slowly chased. Purdue probably feeling like they were in an advantage state in this game before that Baron, before that whole play, thought, okay, we can play this slow, TP. Quokka had an insanely good E on Eugene, where Eugene thought he was completely off vision. They had no idea where he was. Blind E, rooted him down. Chumslog finished him, but it's just Purdue getting slightly too far ahead of themselves. They could have just let Ezreal die, everybody else stay away, force Ball State to start the Baron, and then play from there. But it got too scattered, and it was just too easy for Ball State to play that, and they played it really well to get the kills and then get the Baron. Very, very visceral, smart gameplay from them.
And yeah, and now that Dragon is coming up, and Ball State, I mean, they have a lot of resources available to them, although it will be Purdue who first takes control of that river. Now, this is going to be an incredibly important Dragon fight here for Ball State.
And if we look at the sums, Ezreal has no sums. Xayah has all of hers. Ari has her flash as well.
Oh, and here comes the engage. Remy is immediately taken down. That was a massive Malphite ult. And this is not a great way to start this fight for the Dragon here. Wombat Baby misses the charm. Does land the Q on Eugene, but it's not really going to be doing much there. And I think Ball State needs to just give this Dragon up. I mean, contesting it at this point is just so risky.
Vex TP top there, and Jax does have TP, but she is going to get stunned here. Almost one shot.
I think Ace is just dead. Okay, now the Flash and Fear will keep them alive just a little bit longer, but Silk is going to come in, does commit the Zanyas there, and alright, that was that. The Dragon is already being started here by the side of Purdue. It is going to be really difficult for Ball State to contest this, but here comes the Leona ultimate. The charm does land on the map, but the Dragon is so low, and it is claimed rapidly there. Chumslug looking to find any damage, does get a massive root off. Okoka is forced to flash away. There's just simply not enough damage from the side of Ball State to kill the members of Purdue fast enough. For TP from Wombat Baby coming in, but Purdue got what they came for. They are heading out.
I think both solo laners, one from each team here, made a mistake. Vex TP top lane before that dragon spawn to answer the Jax from taking that tier 2, and Jax with that TP advantage instead tried to fight Vex in top and get that kill before TPing, when he really probably should just TP'd bot and played the 4v4 now that Vex can't be there. But what ended up happening is he stayed top, forced Ball State into a 4v3 situation, which kept him completely isolated from the fight, and it's just a hard play to make that 4v3 happen. And as you saw, Ball State was losing that 4v3 until the Jax TP'd in to stop Purdue's advance any further, but it was just a little bit of a, I don't want to say it's an error, it's more of just a difference in decision making and choices. Silk was super close to killing A's there, which would have changed the game. It's just the more risky play instead of the more consistent play.
Yeah, and Ball State, wow, they really want to fight this. Ball State is going to ult in, and here comes the season to assist, and that is just a dead Ezreal with the Solar Flare added for good measure. Yeah, Gumayushi, you're just not allowed to exist in that lane. I am sorry. And now with a big source of damage down for Purdue, Ball State can look to keep shoving these waves forward and really ramp up the pressure.
This is the power of the Ahri buy. Every single time Ezreal is by himself, every time he is mid lane, he is going to get cease and desist into the Spirit Rush. He's going to get charmed, and he's going to just be completely isolated unless the rest of his team is there. And as we've seen multiple times, sometimes his team's just not behind him close enough. But I think Purdue still has a lot of answers here. They are down quite a bit of gold, but they just need to play the macro as they do have soul.
Power goes down, and here comes Remy with the engaged Chumslog DPSing in the back. This is a really awkward position for Purdue. And the Malphite just needs to ult away, and Ball State is just going to keep this top lane push going. But the Ezreal ultimate will clear out that wave, kind of slowing Ball State down a bit. But they got what they came for. And, oh, wow! The charm on the Saknom going to stop that Rakan engage. And Saknom just going to zip away unscathed.
I didn't realize until right now, but Chumslog is almost have a flame horizon over Gumayuki. Xayah is very good at just taking every single camp on the map, every single minion on the map, clears these things super fast. She's at 4.5 items, probably has close to enough gold to go to base and buy that Scimitar to be 5 items. Maybe it's better to go Zephyr Boots before finishing full Scimitar. I'm not 100% sure there, but that Xayah is incredibly strong, and probably of this 5k gold lead, maybe 3k, 4k of it's on that Xayah alone.
Yeah, Chumslog is putting in the work on that Xayah. Zephyr is, I would say, probably a bit, if you haven't, probably just a bit better than fully building that Scimitar, just because the movement speed does feel pretty nice, especially on slightly lower range AD carries. But hold that thought. Here is one dead Vex. Oh my goodness. And we are looking to go for more. That Ezreal all alone uses the cleanse, uses the flash, just barely managing to get out as that Ignite ticks away at his health bar. And Ball State, I mean, it would have been nice to get the Ezreal, but you got that Vex basically for free. And this Baron has only 20 seconds to come up. This is massive here for BSU.
Yeah, and as we see the gold right now, all that gold lead is on the Xayah. There's a big difference there. Xayah's going to be full build here really soon. And we just keep seeing Purdue one step ahead of themselves. They're walking into the jungle, not together. They're walking into darkness when they shouldn't be. Ezreal's on his mid wave just a little bit before his team could be there. They need to play a little slower, but Silk might be completely cut out here. We are seeing an Ahri TP into the top lane. They are just going to play for Baron here since Viego and Rakan are bot. The Malphite ult's going to come down onto Silk. He's going to counter-strike to stop all that damage. Do they have enough damage to kill him? They got to kill him since they lost the Baron on the other side of the map without losing anyone. Team Gumayuki has some arcane shift away, and Silk is just not dying.
That was insane. They spent so much time and resources and energy on getting Silk. You lose the Baron, and you're going to lose this top tower as well. This is not really worth it at all for Purdue. You're losing the mid. You're losing the inhibitors. I mean, Ball State just cracked your base wide open. Remy has to flash away. I think he just barely manages to escape there. Eugene is still going to be chasing Remy down, but will just manage to get away. Ball State got so much out of this as this dragon, this Elder Drake, is coming up in 50 seconds. And, I mean, that's a full build Xayah as you get that Mercurial Scimitar. This is looking rough for Purdue.
Yeah, they do have the soul, but they're down 8K gold. It's a really hard game to play here. And I think if you're Silk, after that last death, you're typing in all chat, thanks for Baron, guys. Or, hey, look, Baron, guys. Something along those lines. Always some fun, friendly banter there. But I don't quite know why Purdue is committing that heavily when they're already down so much gold and so much map pressure. But it all is going to come down to this Elder. An Elder flip wins the game almost every time in League of Legends. The team that gets Elder is going to win this game. And the full cryo into this river first is for Purdue.
Yeah, Purdue, they've got a lot of vision down, as does Ball State. Purdue was the first in this river.
They don't have mid inhib, so they have to just force this. They cannot sit here and play this slow. They have to play it really fast because otherwise Ball State's minions are going to push into the base. They have to go quick. They have to flip this quick.
Just waiting for that initial engage. Here comes a TP into the backline. Remy has jumped onto that Elder Dragon. Everybody is running at this TP, and that is just a lot of knockup on Silk with the charm. Does manage to land on Gumayushi.
Oh!
Gumayushi is down! What is this? The Malphite ult lands, but it knocks at everybody. But then there's the return there from Leona. That's double kill. That's a triple kill for Jumpslog. The Zaya going absolutely crazy right now, and Eugene just running away, but there's nothing you can do. They get the ace, and that is it right there. Ball State wins the Elder flip and will win this game.
They didn't even need to flip the Elder. They are up 12,000 gold, 5-0 ace there to win the game. You know, it looked like the fight could have gone differently. There was a big Malphite ult, but the Wombat Baby's charm to bring T1 Gumayuki back into the Counter-Strike, get stunned. It was really well played by them, and it was just, it's another one of those things where if you're Purdue, you're like, oh man, that game was in our hands. It was just small mistakes here and there, and as I've said all day, League is a little bit at a time and then all at once. Every time you gave Ball State a little bit, they just kept taking more and more until everything falls apart.
Yeah, it really, again, I thought that fight was going to go very differently. That Malphite ult was massive, but Wombat Baby on that Ahri is a force to be reckoned with. And I mean, that's a full build Zaya. Jumpslog just had so much damage available. The minute that Ezreal went down, it was all over. So Ball State will take this first game in a fantastic style.
Yeah, it was a really fun game. A lot of different iterations of how League is played. You know, you have the side laning happening, you have how you want a team fight, you have picks happening with the Vi Ahri, you have vision games happening here and there. It was a very fun game, which really, if you've never watched a ton of League and you want to learn something about how high level competitive League is played, that's a great game to watch because you learn a lot of different things. And if you're Purdue here, you need to learn from what just happened. You need to learn on, okay, what was wrong in draft, what was wrong in game. Draft, I would say you're a little bit too bursty into Jax that needs a lot more DPS damage to take down. You need Leona, who has a lot of DPS, and Vi. And on the side of gameplay, you need to be a little bit slower. You played that first 20, 25 minutes really well. You know, you were making the right choices. You weren't ahead of yourself. But then you started to feel like you were winning. You started to feel like the game was in your hands, and you just kept making one step too quickly before getting... You tried to take 2 steps with your right foot before taking one with your left.
Yeah, it's a common thing in a lot of League games. You want to just keep that pressure on. You want to keep the tempo high and energetic. And so if you feel like you're winning, sometimes you maybe press a bit too hard on that gas pedal, and things just spiral out of control. It was well played from both teams. Again, we both talked about this all day. It really is just these smaller mistakes. Some of those macro plays were questionable. I think sending so many people after Silk's Jax in the bot lane while Ball State got the Baron and then cracked open the base. Maybe let's not do that next time.
I think it's hard in a game of League where oftentimes in competitive games, you don't really have a competitive game for 30 minutes. You might have a competitive game for 20 and then something blows it out. Or you might have a competitive game for 10, something like that. And a lot of these teams, if you don't play a ton of games, you're not going to have those 30-minute slugfest, 40-minute banger of games. So you lose track of how to play the game at that time. And since there's no like practice tool or simulations in League, you have to learn it from playing those games. So if you haven't played those games, you're going to struggle there. And Ball State, a team that we've seen here at Battle for Indiana multiple times, a team with some really veteran players on this lineup. They've played those games. They understand how to do it, how to play the macro. And as we saw, Silk was completely fine just wasting time. I don't even think he used his flash. I just think he stayed alive for as long as he could. Grandmaster's arm, Counter-Strike, fighting it out while the rest of his team, Ari TP'd to the Baron, didn't TP to try and play the fight with Jax. Very smart play from everybody on Ball State. And Purdue's got to learn from that going into this next game.
Yeah, I completely agree. I'd just like to see a bit more stronger macro from Purdue, but I think both these teams have shown, especially in that early game, that
the first 25 minutes from Purdue was both these teams were evenly matched in macro and micro in every regards to the game. They were playing it how obviously there were mistakes for both teams, but they were playing it the way they wanted to, playing it how it needed to be played, and it was just that slow leak and slow burn that caused a 1K gold lead to turn to a 4, that turned into a 6, it turned into a 12, and that just is really hard to combat.
Yeah, this is the first game on stream that's gone to Elder as well.
Yeah,
I believe.
it was.
So,
I would think so as well.
yeah, no. So this is these are the two best teams here at the tournament, and I feel like this game highlighted both the best and the worst of what Ball State and Purdue are capable of. So as we move into the second game, let's say you're Purdue. What's like one thing that you need to, I guess, change about your initial game plan going in?
Well, I assume they're going to go blue side. I mean, if I'm Purdue, I'm forcing Wombat Baby on something other than Ari. Like, he has shown he's really good at Ari, but it also might be a crutch. You never know. I'm not going to say that because I think he's a good player. But today, we haven't seen him prove anything else but Ari. Take one of your red side bands away, maybe Skarner. Take Skarner away and first pick the Skarner if you're scared of it. But force Wombat Baby onto something less comfortable and pick comfort for everybody else on your team. It's something they showed in the last game against IU. This game showed a lot of comfort. When you're comfortable on your champion and you're comfortable on your team comp, it makes focusing on the macro of the game a whole lot easier. So that's what I would want to see.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. I think, Wombat Baby has only, I believe, at least on the games that have been streamed, I believe he's only been on Ari. He might have had an Orianna game. No.
Nope, because he was Ari Yone.
Yeah, it was okay.
And he played Ari last series. He might have played no, he didn't play a Yone game. He's played Ari.
So he's really just been on Ari. And I mean, when you're back to the wall like this as Purdue, you might as well try something of that nature. But I think Purdue has shown that they can make some really interesting and very adaptable composition changes, right? We weren't a huge fan of this draft, and this draft didn't wind up working out. But, I mean, the previous draft in their game against IU, I mean, we thought that was kind of weird, and it turned out to be a completely dominating force. So I'm curious. I want them to still be creative here, and I'm hoping to see something unexpected.
Yeah, and I think going back to the comfort thing, if you take Wombat Baby off his Ari where he's not as comfortable, maybe he's the one who falters a little bit in the macro, or maybe you take Silk Flannel off this Jax, which he's been very good at all day, and he doesn't care the matchup. The thing with Ball State is their solo laners are willing to blind pick these lanes, which means they are okay with whatever matchup. They're okay if it's a good matchup, if it's a bad matchup. They only care about playing this champion, which is not a bad thing. But sometimes if you are the other team, it's like, okay, that's what you've shown us all day. We think these power picks are really strong, but you've shown you want to play these champions. We're not going to let you play these champions for this do or die game. And I think that's just kind of the way you have to go about it this next game.
Yeah, the stakes are high. I know that Purdue's got to be feeling the pressure. We'll be getting into draft really, really soon. I want to see something creative, and like you said, maybe forcing Ball State off of the champs they've been running all day. After all, there hasn't been a ton of variance, at least in the games that we've been streamed. Just shake things up a little, because this is it, right? This is the final match here if Purdue can't pull out a win.
Yeah. And I think they banned Ziggs last time as well. Is Chumslog a good Ziggs, or is that a Wombat Baby Ziggs? Why are they banning Ziggs as well?
Chumslog did play a Ziggs game on stream. I believe it was against Indiana Tech. I mean, he did very well, but Indiana Tech was just a comparatively weaker team for Ball State, so I think Chumslog would have done well on any bot lane pick. But yeah, Ball State has been banning Ziggs in a few drafts. I know he's been a somewhat contested pick throughout the
Yeah.
entirety of the battle for Indiana. I think he can play Ziggs just fine. I think he's better as a marksman player.
Which is what I was gonna get at. I think he is. I think he's very good at marksman. Let's try and drop the Ziggs ban, put it on the Ari, put it on the Jax, let him play Ziggs. Just really try and change your draft strategy a little bit to maybe throw Ball State off. But we're talking about draft when a lot of the issue last game was gameplay. And if you just can hold it together for another 15, 20 minutes, instead of, well, not even 15, 5-10 minutes, it's a whole different game. And as we're seeing in draft already, we are seeing the Fiora, Jax, and the Ziggs ban that leaves Skarner and Ari up. They are going to say, and the Fury ban would be so BM here.
Okay. It's Vex.
Okay, but that tells me that Ball State expects Purdue to pick Skarner first so that they can go Ari. If I am IU here, I'm picking, they're just going to go Yon into Ari. He's just going to pick Ari Skarner.
Yeah, there's the Skarner, and I imagine Ari's getting locked in right here. I'm not liking this so far. This is giving me a bad feeling.
I guess what Purdue's going to go is they're like, okay, we know you're going to play Ari, we know you're going to play Skarner, but they're going to get the Yone Ivern here unless Ball State takes away the Ivern, which I don't expect them to. I think both teams are, well, I guess both teams are happy with doing it this way. Ari for Wombat Baby, and unless he goes to Ivern here, which I don't expect, Purdue's going to go the Ivern. That's the trade they're taking here, which I guess is okay. I don't mind it. I would have just rather seen the Ari ban instead of the Ziggs and take the same trade.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. Yep, and Ball State is going to pick that Ivern away. Interestingly, they're debating.
I think it's just saying, hey, we know you're going to go Ivern. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. There we go. Ari Skarner locked in, and I expect to see the Ivern coming up here shortly.
I don't hate the draft idea. I mean, it makes complete sense. In theory, like the theory of this draft so far makes complete sense.
Right, but we call it Wombat Baby Ari for a reason.
Yeah.
Sometimes, okay, so we're picking away the Zaya here from Chumslog. I like that a lot.
Here comes where Chumslog takes the Ezreal because they both like both sides of the matchup,
Oh,
It's all about which one you have. They don't really care which champion it is. They like both sides. Let's see, that would be so funny. My guess is it's going to be a top side pick for Wombat or for Silk, who likes to just
That's not real.
Sivir?
That's not real. Okay. Okay.
I told you. 80 carry players don't actually know who wins this lane.
I think it's Zaya. I'm still going to die on that hill that it's Zaya. Rakan getting banned away just to deny that Zaya-Rakan synergy. I'm expecting the Karma to be banned away here shortly. Instead, it's going to be Camille.
I think that's a good ban. It allows you to have that flex of the Yone. It allows you to pick Aatrox as well on 4 or 5 if that's what you want to blind pick here. And the idea here is they're just going to ban 2 top laners that are good into the blind pick that they're going to take on 4 or 5. Unless they do ban the Karma, which would make sense too.
Yeah, I mean, leaving that Karma open is a bit dangerous there. Ezreal Karma is just such a oppressive, pokey lane, but Karma is going to be banned away, so yeah, not going to allow that. I imagine we'll see... Quokka's Pike, interestingly, has been left open, so he might want to just lock it in here.
But Ball State has shown that they are a counterpick support team, but maybe, like you said, Pike is just so much comfort that they're fine taking it here.
Yeah, it is a little bit of an awkward synergy for Ezreal, but I mean, Quokka's Pike is terrifying, and if they're going to allow him on it, he's going to pick it. So that is Pike locked in there for the side of Ball State. That's
another little fun draft nuance about this game specifically, that if this is a BO3, you don't have another chance at this unless you win this game. But if it's a BO5, you lose this. Now you get to take that gauntlet again, where instead of banning the Camille, you say, okay, we're going to ban Pike Karma because we know you're willing to blind pick Pike. Okay, but now are you going to blind pick top? And that makes sense why they banned the Camille now, though, because they're blind picking Gnar. I think Silk could play something fun. He could play like an Irelia matchup. He could play the Vladimir. I'm not really sure what he's going to do, but he's got a lot of options here.
Yeah, Gnar blind picking is interesting. Could be a comfort thing. Aurora, I confess I don't know that matchup.
It's good for Aurora.
Okay.
But he is a Zac player too.
All right.
That makes them pretty AP heavy though, and low damage.
Yeah, I Okay, that is going to be locked in. So again, my immediate biggest concern here is that there isn't a ton of consistent DPS. It's quite bursty with the pike. And Ezreal, if you're piloting that champion in a vacuum, he has a lot of consistent DPS, but it's pretty much impossible to operate Ezreal in a vacuum. He's not always going to have an opportunity to weave autos in between every single ability cast. Notably, Thresh has also been drafted for the side of Purdue. I think Thresh Saya is pretty solid. She has so many disengage tools with that lantern, with her ultimate. But yeah, I'm a little hesitant about Ball State's draft. There's a lot of comfort in there. There's the Ari. Chumpslug's good on Ezreal. I know Akoka's Pike is incredible, and Silka's a good Zac player. But again, there is a DPS problem. It's very burst heavy, very front loaded. I think it's going to struggle, especially against this Ivern shielding into that Thresh tankiness. Have to see how it pans out.
I think Purdue is happy with the way this draft goes. Whether we are 100% for it or not doesn't matter. I think they're happy with this because it's very similar to the draft and the ideas that they got during their IU game, where they have Ivern into a very low DPS, very bursty team comp. In that game, though, they were Ivern, Nyla, and everybody was diving. While this game, they are Ivern with a bunch of people who can go back against a team that wants to jump into them. So it makes sense. I'm sure they're happy with this. They're sitting there saying, you know what? We got Xayah into Zac, Skarner, Pike, Ari, 4 people who are diving in on us. We have Ivern, who's going to be able to shield a bunch of this low DPS, high burst damage from us. And we've got the Yone that A's has been really happy to play all day long.
Yep, and then the Thresh too, offering, right, if that Pike's going to become flying in, you just flay him away.
Yep.
So there's a lot of really good options here. I like Purdue's draft a lot. I imagine they do too. Ball State, it is a comfort draft that I think we've established has some obvious problems, but it is at a comfort draft, right? A lot of the picks that have been sort of selected here for Ball State are champions that they really, really enjoy playing and are really good at playing. And sometimes that can be more than enough to make up for the weaknesses on your team.
Yeah, and it's not like their issues are completely hindrances. They are low DPS, but they don't have no DPS. They are high AP, but they don't have no AD damage. It's just it's not a horrible draft. Like, if I had to give you a number, some drafts are 80-20, right? Where one team's going to win. This one is maybe 55-45, it's very close in draft. It's another one of these games where both teams have clear ideas on how they want to play the game, and they just have to play it that way and perform.
Yeah, I am curious how the early is going to go in the previous game, right? The early was played very slowly, but Quokka likes to play aggressive, and he has access to a Pike. Like, I would not be shocked if the minute he gets level 2, he's flash E-ing on the enemy bot lane.
Would not surprise me either. But the issue is that if the Xayah and Thresh play it well, they should get level 2 first. They should get the push first as well. There's a lot of interesting things that can happen this game. I assume Eugene's going to play to that bot side as well on the Ivern. Earlier, we saw him do mark Gromp into Wolves, go mark all 3 bot camps, run up, smite blue buff, take his camps back down to the bot side, be bot lane at like 305, 306. I expect he'll do a very similar thing here, and Skarner just can't match that tempo unless they do some invade or something level 1. And neither team has shown that they're willing to do that yet today. Everyone's been 5-pointing.
Yeah, they don't really like these early fights. I do like Skarner jungle quite a bit, just because I think diving from anywhere on the walls, especially onto some of these squishier targets, is very, very strong. But like you said, you can't match that Ivern tempo. Ivern zooms through those jungles, and I think playing the bot side, both these teams really like playing towards their bot side. And I think that Ivern is going to cause a lot of impact early.
And it's a different top lane too, where last game it was Silk on the Jax while the other opponent was on the tank. And now this game it is... Hold on, who's the top laner? Hold on, it's going to come to me. Hold on, it's going to come to me.
Whoa.
Phantom is on the Gnar while the opponent is on the tank. So this time we're going to see Phantom with the lane prowl, with the shove, in your face all game. So it makes it a little bit better for Ivern to be top more than he was last game. But I don't think Ivern has any hope or any want to play towards that top side. So it's a little bit of a difference flip-flops between the last game and multiple lanes here.
Yeah, especially I think for this top side, I think that Nar, again, I don't know top matchup super well, but I feel like that Nar is going to be pretty content to just
Yeah.
kind of keep that Zac by tower,
Absolutely.
just keep farming up, getting those items, and eventually, at some point you'll have Mega Gnar available in your jungle
Yeah.
or be in the right area, so you can get a nice kill there.
And Zac's going to be really similar to Malphite, where he's fine taking the beating, sustaining through it, and playing with his team. Like, it's just what these top laners have decided to trade on this game. I think they're both good enough to perform on both of them. It's just going to come down to who does it better this game now. But I think Gnar should have shove top.
I agree as well. I believe we are going to be hopping into game very shortly as the drafts have been selected. Everybody is ready to get on to Summoner's Rift, and we are heading to game right now. So this is do or die here for Purdue. They need this win, and Ball State is that much closer to securing a victory. Both teams have shown that they're very good at what they do and that they're very willing to put it all on the line whenever they need to. Very excited to see how this plays out as
And
we
we get a
get
pause.
into a pause. Come on.
Audio issue. Okay, so we're going to have a small audio issue, but it's interesting here because Ball State is going to do a little bit of a level 1 here. They're doing something. I don't know if it's going to be just for vision here or if they're going to play for a split map, if they're going to try and take a camp here, if they're going to make it hard for Ivern to start the way he wants, because it looks like Eugene wants to do exactly the same as he did the first game he played Ivern. He wants to do Gromp Mark, Wolves Mark, Bot Side Mark, Top Smite, all the way back down. And having this ward here, they definitely can play for this red buff or for the split map, which
Yeah.
will be very good for them.
I guess we'll see, as I believe the pause is just about to end. It says play will resume in 0, but it's been saying that for a couple of seconds. So we might still be in pause territory. Yeah, I think getting that early vision and maybe, again, even trying for a level 1. Like, we have Quokka on this Pyke, and that Pyke's going to be one of the roaming a lot. I think messing up that Ivern's clear could be pretty devastating. But we're getting back into game, and we do have the vision down, so they will be able to figure out the pathing. And, oh, there's that level 1 you were talking about.
They want to do something here. I think they should. I think they shouldn't let Ivern do whatever he wants on this level 1. He's very weak level 1. And both States comp is quite strong level 1. Did Ivern not see him?
I
definitely did.
I'm not sure what happened. I believe we're about to get another pause, perhaps? Okay, nope, we're all good. The flash committed from Ivern and the ignite on the Ivern. And here's that level 1 you wanted. Eugene is immediately going to go down. First blood there for Quokka. And that is... that's exactly what you want on Pyke, and that is going to be a stolen blue buff, and this early game plan that you so beautifully illustrated is already in shambles.
That was really, really good there from Quokka too. He had the gun pointed at Ivern and said, which one of us is going to flinch first? Am I going to pull the trigger first, or are you going to flash first? And Ivern didn't have the guts to stand there and wait for the hook to come out. He flashed early, and that means Quokka was able to pull him into Remy, who flashes over the wall. Really nice level 1 play from them, and that's exactly what I was saying. I want to see them do something level 1. Don't let Ivern do what he wants to do here. He's quite weak, and this whole series we've only seen, actually all day, we've only seen 5 points. And now we're going to just see how these lanes play out. As I said, bot lane is going to get the push early here. Top lane is also going to have the shove. Mid lane should go Wombat Baby's favored because it's the range versus melee matchup. Ivern smartly is going to go mark all of Remy's camp's top side because he does know he lost his blue side.
Yep. Oh, and the hook is going to land on the Chump Slug as well as that Flay going to be forcing to shift away, and that's a nice chunk of damage that you just threw onto that bot lane, but it's Ezreal. He's okay farming under tower. I imagine outside of Quokka doing some Quokka things, we're not going to be seeing too much activity, although as I say that, Silk is up here fighting Phantom, and Remy is here with the early gank and suppression. Phantom is going to have to commit a flash or just die, and Silk will get an early kill up topside. Very well played.
And that right there is all, again, because of that level 1. Phantom knows that they lost their blue side jungle. They know it's a split map. Once they got that first wave crash, or the second wave crash, whichever wave it was, They need to just walk away, let the wave come into them, but these guys are getting a little bit too ahead of themselves, just like we saw last game. They need to slow it down and let the game come to them. Oh, missed that hook by an inch.
Oh, there was a lot of maybes happening on over there, but it looks like everyone's just going to go about their business. They at least know where Eugene is in that jungle, so Remy can have accordingly. We do have that dragon coming up in just over a minute as well. Ball State doesn't have a lot of bot prio at the moment.
Yeah, see, everybody knows where the junglers are. It's a split map. If you are on the weak side of a split map, you should never die because you should never trade. As you can see from the the Purdue bot lane, they're trying to trade a bunch so that they can have this dive work, and
Remy
Ball
is
State's not
coming
giving
mid.
it to them.
Oh, I thought that was about to be something big.
They're
but
too
then we see
healthy.
flash committed. And here comes the dive down onto that bot lane. Quokka will go down, but Shumslug picks up a kill onto the Thresh. Is forced to use that barrier as Gumayushi manages to land all those feathers, and Eugene's still looking for that dive angle. Remy, in the meantime, is going straight top lane to this Gnar. Gnar does still have flash. Phantom should be able to get away and is just going to use that flash, get a massive stun off. And overall, I'd say that Ball State favored.
Definitely Ball State favored. Remy said, how many times am I going to have to teach you this lesson? You are weak side of a split map. You can never be past river. It's what we saw bot lane, but the bot lane for Ball State did not trade enough to be weak enough for that dive to go heavily in favor of the side of Purdue. So we ended up seeing it just be a straight up 1-for-1. If Eugene didn't leave so quickly, maybe it could have been a 2-for-1. And they lose the wave, which would have made it a whole lot worse. But maybe the nerves got to him, or he saw something that I didn't see right here in the moment. But either way, it was well played by Ball State's bot lane to just not trade. They said, you want to trade, we're not going to do it. We know it's a split map. We know your jungler's here trying to dive us.
Yep, it is very well done. And now you get that sheen on the Ezreal, and oh, we have Poka here getting the nice stun on the AZ Wombat Baby. Is looking for an angle here, does not quite get that charm that he wants to. Remy shows up a bit late, could have been a strong engage, might still be a strong engage as Remy is going to get knocked back into tower. Just going to run away here, not trying to make anything fancy happening. There's too healthy mid to really be dived. Void Grubs have spawned, Ball State looking to claim them.
Quokka tried to play the game of chicken there with A's again. He held the hook, said, are you going to go back to your shadow, or am I going to throw this hook first? A's had the gumption to stand in there and wait, hold his E, not go back to the Soul Unbound, its original position, stay there and play the game of chicken until the Quokka's hook was gone. Really well played there by A's. Otherwise, a less talented mid laner definitely dies there.
Yeah, this is the terror of Quokka Pike. Well played by A's. Void Grubs will be secured by Ball State here. I imagine you want to trade Dragon pretty quickly if you are Purdue. We can see the jungler and Thresh rotating down to that bot lane. Shumslog might be a bit cut out here. Does get hit by the flay, does get hit by the hook, and the shift does not allow him to escape properly. Shumslog in a really, really bad position. Does still have that flash rail running to the wall. Go to flash over, but both of these players following him, and that ignite will finish off Shumslog as Eugene picks up another kill.
That was a nice flash lantern there, or actually lantern flash there from Saknom to get the kill on Chums. It's one of those things where it might have been better to save the flash, but you tried it and you got Saknom's flash out of it. Very, very well played there from the side of Purdue to get something back on the other side of this map after they lost the Grubs. They should get the Dragon here, but Ball State is not going to go quietly into the night.
Yeah, Quokka is here trying to scare off Purdue, channeling that hook. The hook lands onto Ari, but it also lands into a giant stun onto that Xayah. Here comes A's, and that is a rooted Remy, but Wombat Baby is here as well. Does have that charm available very soon, doesn't even need it. That hook will pull Saknon back as Wombat Baby gets the kill, and Ball State, kind of against the odds here, manages to secure that Dragon. A disaster for Purdue.
That's so sad because I'm sure T1 Gumayuki thought he was going to just be able to ult there away from the Skarner, but it's a suppressed. It's not just like a root or something. We are seeing impale onto the Yone here from the Skarner to get another kill. Remy is running around this map in complete control of this game.
Yeah, that is just really unfortunate. Here comes the re-engage. The Remy's looking mighty low. Phantom is going to want to try and make something happen, but does not have.
Oh!
It's not even close to making our. What on earth was that?
Oh, he
That's
got
going to
it.
go into the charm. That's a shutdown on the Remy. And Phantom looking low, looking cut out, but now finally has access to Meganar. I can't believe that Ball State. Wow, and as we're going down into the bot lane here, there is no flash available for this Ezreal, so the root and the hook are going to let Gumayuchi slay Chum Slug there. What a chaotic series of events.
Yeah, both teams are throwing punches, hoping they land. Some of them are, and some of them aren't. I was saying, though, Skarter's is like that E or his push, whatever it is that grabs them, besides Impale, is a suppress. And T1 Gumayuki desperately was spamming the R button, trying to get his ult off at that dragon fight, and it would have been a whole different series of events. But because it's a suppress, he wasn't able to ult. Nice charm here onto Phantom from Wombat Baby. Not going to end up being anything as Phantom's just going to jump away. But if that ult comes off during that dragon fight, it's a whole different ball game there. But it was well played by Ball State to stack their CC onto the Xayah, get that first kill at the dragon, get another, get the dragon, move into top, mid lane, kill Yone, and then they just played it a little bit too long. It was well played by Eugene and Phantom to drag that fight out and get more back for themselves. And now we're seeing a little bit of a lane swap here with Yone into the top side and Gnar mid. I don't think they did this on purpose. I think it is a consequence of the actions that have been made in the past that forced them to be this way. I think they'll swap back here soon.
Yeah, as the Void Grubs are coming up in about 30 seconds, Ball State having 6 Grubs would be a pretty massive boon. But in the meantime, things are slowing down a bit. You know, nothing's coming up just yet. People need to reset, get those items, get back onto the map. Coco resetting as well. Remy is heading toward the Void Grubs, looking to set up control in the river, and we even have Wombat Baby TPing in as well.
Yeah, I think both teams really, really want these Grubs. The Gnar needs it to be better at the side lane, and Ball State's team needs it just in general to have more damage off. We are seeing a nice hook land onto Chumslog. He's got an Arcane Shift away. I don't think they're going to be able to follow up with enough damage. Everything happening in topside is leading to these Grubs as well, while we're fighting on both sides of the map. He doesn't have ult. The hook misses from Thresh. We're seeing him fighting here topside. We do have Meganar. The Impale lands onto 2. Zach jumps in onto both. The stun into the wall is not enough to keep anyone alive. It's a clean 2 for 0 on the top side for Ball State, while they're just perma fighting bot side.
Wow, there are some sparks flying. That is a nice Void Grub get here for Ball State, and there's just a lot. I mean, I said Coco was an aggressive pike, and here we are seeing that. It is just a lot of constant hooks, constant mind games. This tower bot side, however, is slowly being whittled down. Here comes the engage. That Thresh is stunned, and the Quokka looking very low, but Chumslog will get Saknum. Gumayuchi will get Quokka in return. All right, Chumslog lands the W, and the barrier does come up, and the flash for the double kill. You gotta respect the barrier, Chumslog. And unfortunately for Ball State, that is Gumayuchi securing a mighty lead in that bot lane.
I'm not sure if Chumslog expected the flash, if he expected that much damage. He didn't even use his barrier, so maybe he just wasn't quite sure how much damage Gumayuki had there. Gumayuki put every single card he has on the table, all his faith in it, and just said, I'm going to hope this kills you, because if not, this is a disaster. It ended up working in his favor, and we're seeing another game of this Xayah Ezreal where both AD carries like both sides of the matchup, and you're right, Xayah looks like it's the better side.
I will die on that hill. Dragon is coming up in about 30 seconds. Ball State setting up that vision control around the bot side. But I mean, this is a very strong.
Down too. Look at that.
Yeah, this is a very strong Xayah. It's going to be hard. AZ getting caught out here. It does manage to dodge the E and the snapback, and flashes the charm. Poor AZ is having to play Dance Dance Revolution in the mid lane. Meanwhile, Chumslug is looking to be dove on bot lane here. Here's Daisy. Here's Gumayuchi. He's rooted. He's being hit by Daisy. Shifts away. Rooted once again. Airborne. Airborne. You are not allowed to move. Quokka 1 HP is zooming in. Shrine to Bait, and here lands the charm.
Too late.
TP is coming in. The shutdown onto Gumayuchi. Segnum is going to flash forward and try and get that hook. Does not quite connect. Ball State, while they did get a kill there, they are forced to back out of the river and concede this dragon.
Yeah, somebody there just has to tank the charm there for the Zaya. It's really hard to do because you're scared you're just going to die, but somebody has to tank that. But it is Purdue who is going to get this second dragon of the game, which maybe not. Actually, it looks like Ball State is in position and they want to fight.
Yeah, they want to fight again. And here comes a massive impale! As that is perhaps an easy double kill for Wombat Baby. Actually, nobody has died yet. That's a double kill for Remy. Just kidding. And that is Dragon secured. Once again, Ball State kind of just walked into the river and said, this is my dragon now.
Yeah, Wombat Baby's already so good when paired with Remy, who is hitting insane 2-3-man impales, and Wombat Baby gets to just stand there and throw the Essence Orbs over and over with no threat to him. Remy is putting on a clinic on how to play this tank jungler.
Yeah, Remy, I don't believe has played Skarner, at least not on stream at all yet. He's going to be taking that red buff, just saying hi to Saknam there. Actually, Remy might be in a bit of a pickle. He should be able to get out.
It's Skarner. He'll just go over the wall. Oh, he hits the stun? Oh, but is that unstoppable? Or did it just push him on the other side of the wall?
I think he's unstoppable in it.
No shot he's unstoppable in that.
I know, what a crazy
That's
champion, right?
Crazy.
Koka coming up here to get a hook onto Phantom, but Phantom's going to be knocked airborne. The Ignite lands, and here comes the redemption, but there comes Pyke's ultimate, and Gnar is no more. That redemption came just a bit too late.
Quokka is really good. Oh, the arcane shift forward. There is no tower here for Yone. He has to try and fight or just try and get out with the Fate Unsealed, but it's not going to be it. Nice arcane shift forward there from Shumslock, and Remy just in the correct position again. As I was going to say, though, Quokka loves playing this game of chicken with everybody. He's going to sit in your face and hold this hook and force you to do something. If you jump early, if you flash early, if you dash early, he is going to hook you in the end. You need to just sit there and have the guts to stand in his face and wait for him to make his move first.
Yes, indeed. The Rift Herald is up, and I see no reasons why Ball State cannot contest it. Jump slug on the bot lane, meanwhile, just shoving that tower forward. Koka lands the hook on the Eugene, lands the stab, does not quite land the stun on the Eugene, excuse me. Ball State looking to fight over control over this river, perhaps get a Rift Herald, or perhaps they are looking to reset. Jumpslug has no mana at the moment. I want to back as that Ezreal.
He's got a ton of gold, though. He was definitely down quite a bit early from how this game went. But because of these recent plays, he got tier 1 bot lane. He almost had this tier 2.
And here comes the engage, and here comes the charm and the redemption. And that is a very low-looking Saknam, and that is a very dead-looking Saknam. And the Yone ult finds nobody, as AZ just has to snap back. And the Zaya ult does manage to get a nice root onto Silk. Silk and Wombat Baby are stunned there as Phantom lands the Gnar ultimate. Oh, and the knockup. Wombat Baby forced to go golden. And AZ might have a shot at redemption here. Does get the shutdown. And T1 Gumayuchi will take out Quokka as well. That is a Rift Herald for Purdue.
That fight looked a little dangerous there at the beginning for Purdue, but because of how bursty and how ult-reliant Ball State is, once they used all those cooldowns on Thresh and didn't have enough damage to kill Yone, it turned completely the opposite way. And they did dive a little deep into the tower, but that's not what you want. You cannot be giving this team's comp that scales super well for Purdue any gold. They smartly took the Herald as well, moved Gnar into the bot lane to cover that wave, get that wave push, and they're forcing the TP out from Ahri to not lose that bot tower as well. We're seeing Purdue fight back.
Yeah, Purdue showing that they are down, but most certainly not out. However, they currently do not have any towers to Ball State's 2. They're going to need to start taking towers. They're going to need to start getting dragons, especially. But this Herald is a very, very good start to a potential comeback story, especially with how strong the Zaya is. But it should be noted, Shumslug has caught up as well, and Quokka continues to remain an absolute menace on this Pyke, just constantly throwing out these hooks.
We are getting to a lot of big 2-item spikes here. We have the Essence Reaver and Navori finish for Zaya. We have Redemption and Moonstone finish for Ivern. Not quite 2 items yet on the Yone, but 2 items on Silk here. Riftmaker and Sunfire. He does do a lot of damage with those 2 items. He is going to jump, not quite land to get the pullback. A's is going to go right back into this with the Bork. He does a ton of damage. Stops it. Is it going to be able to get the passive? They are going to get the passive. This will be a kill onto the Yone. Definitely gift it to him. Do not take it. Nice. Nice. And they got the assist from the Ivern Shield. Very well played from Saknam to move up into that top side. And they should be able to get a lot for this. They should be able to play for tier 1 here. Crash onto tier 2. And Gnar should push big time and then move into this dragon and kind of threaten this with the Yon TP.
You say move into this dragon, but Remy is starting that dragon regardless. I mean, you are losing a lot for this. This is a very risky play, but the Gnar's backing. Ball State's just gonna get this dragon.
Yeah, I would have liked to see Purdue's bot lane move from that mid lane into the dragon pit with Gnar and Yon TP. Force them off of this soul point dragon with their tempo, but instead they're going to say, hey, we're going to play a slow game. We're going to take our win, which there's nothing wrong with taking that win at all. I think you just had to push the pedal just a little bit more. But hey, who knows? Maybe they are completely right, and if they would have done what I'm thinking, it would have just lost them the game. So no harm, no foul there. They were able to find a lot of gold in the top and bot side of that play. A lot of minions and XP lost for the side of Ball State, and a lot of gold into the pocket of these champions that need the gold in Yone and Gnar.
Yeah, I especially think that opening the top side of this map does a ton for Purdue. Look at how much pressure they're able to exert. AZ is just shoving all of that forward, kind of forcing Wombat Baby to be up there. We have the Baron coming up in just over 5 seconds, and we can see both these teams kind of posturing around that top side, looking to get some vision control, and maybe looking for a pick that could lead to a Baron get.
And we're going to see the Zac match the Gnar, which needs to happen for the rest of this game, because anytime that Zac is against Yone, he is going to get shredded by that Blade of the Ruin King. It's not going to be a good matchup for Zac at all. And on the other side, we're going to see Purdue constantly base and play this game of back and forth of who's matching who's in what lane. And for now, it's going to go kind of in the favor of Ball State. Whenever you have this Yone Ahri side lane, you're going to be happy with it because you're going to stop Yone from ever having any prio in that current lane. And as we see the gold here, we see about a 1.5k gold lead for Xayah and a pretty big 1.8, 1.6k gold lead in the top lane for the Zac.
Yeah, Silk is doing work on that Zac. And there's a lot of pressure being exerted in these side lanes as that tower is going to go down. Phantom is going to have to get out. Is forced to fly. Poke lost the hook. Oh, okay. No, the Lantern is going to convince Ball State to back off. But Purdue is going to lose that mid tower for their trouble.
That's what I'm saying. Quokka is the chicken master. He is the king of the game of chicken. He is going to hold that hook until you make a move. So just sit there and stand there and hold your ground and force him to make the play first. Quokka is playing his Pyke really, really well, but this is further of what I'm talking about. Wherever Gnar is in the lane against Zac, you have made a mistake on the side of Purdue. And if the reverse is true, where Yone is in the side lane with Zac, Ball State has made a mistake in these lane assignments. They need to fix these lane assignments before it starts to slowly drag out into more tier 2s, more side lane pressure, because you cannot have this continuous pressure from the Zac into this Gnar lane and just let the Gnar clear waves against this Ahri. They need to fix this lane assignment.
Yeah, and Ball State just continuing to exert this pressure. Like, look, Silk has just been living in this bot lane for what feels like forever, and allowing Ball State to kind of wreak havoc on the mid.
And look where Yone's walking out. He's walking out top. You can't do this. You have to fix these lane assignments. Yeah, every time you do this, it's going to bleed you minions and XP.
Yeah, and Quokka is just going to land that hook, and here comes the redemption. Wombat is stunned, and Saknam will not die to this. Here comes the TP from the Gnar, heading to this top river battle. Ball State a bit on the back foot here. They aren't quite in a good position to make some magic happen. Daisy will get hooked and will get killed, but they don't have a wave mid to really make any kind of comeback. That felt like a bit of an awkward fight to me. I don't think forcing Baron is a good idea here at all. Let's see.
They are getting Ahri TP out here, which if they reset, oh, they do get the stuff.
Oh, and here's a massive engagement against the TP as well.
Oh, they get him. The TP comes in from Zach. The hook lands onto Chumslog, who's completely by himself now on the backline, but the barrier, the flash is enough to keep him alive for long enough. But A's is going to find him. Wombat Baby is going to find A's on the backside with Quokka. Timo Gumayuki is putting so much damage into Silk, who lives forever. It's a 3-for-1 trade in the favor of Purdue, who now have their sights set on the Baron.
All right, my bad, Purdue. Was not familiar with your game there. I said forcing a Baron fight, probably not the best idea, but it seems to have done wonders for Purdue. Wombat Baby is hanging around here. I think he needs to get sacked now. Lands the charm, lands the Q on the bounce back, and gets a solid kill there. Quokka lurking around, looking to get a kill onto that Gnar, but that Iron Shield will keep that proposition a risky one for Ball State. They stopped the Baron, Keeley.
That Ari ult came back just in time to keep himself alive from that Thresh hook. That death sentence would have been detrimental for Ball State. They would have lost Ari, they would have lost Baron, they would have lost all tempo and prio onto this dragon as well. But instead, now we have a full reset from both teams into this dragon soul point spawn. Be honest, I don't think it matters too much if you lose this Cloud Soul. I do not mind Purdue going and rushing this Baron right now.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to try and trade here. The question is, does Ball State want to respond? We can see Remy on the dragon, but we can see both Chumslog and Quokka walking up to this Baron as it is being started right now. And
they do so much damage. They melt this. They just got to commit. Just commit to the Baron play and force your way into the dragon.
And the hook lands onto Ezreal. The blue team does take down Baron Nashor, and that is a very low-looking Chumslog. Chumslog will go down. A's is just DPSing in the middle of everybody. Lands that Q3 onto Wombat Baby, but Wombat Baby will take down A's. And Remy is in the middle, knocking up everybody, but is CC'd himself, and Eugene will pick up that kill. And the Lazak passive has been popped, and Gumi Yuji will simply kill the Zac. Easy peasy. If I'm Purdue, I will take that any day of the week. They also deny Ball State that Cloud Soul.
Very intelligent play there from Purdue, and maybe a little lack of judgment on the side of Ball State. Purdue said, okay, we're happy with this trade. We'll take Baron. We'll take the gold spike, the injection of gold to allow us to play this rest of this map a little bit easier. Ball State, instead of saying, okay, fine, we'll take Soul. We'll just wait the 5 minutes. We'll take the permanent buff. We're going to try and stop you on Baron, and admit that they were doing it a little late. They were doing it into no vision. They were doing it too slow, too spread out, which ended up costing them both Baron and Dragon at the end of the day, when in reality they could have just taken Soul for free and said, you know what, we'll just wait 5 minutes before we try and fight you again.
Yeah, very poor decision making from Ball State. I mean, Purdue has been making a couple of really solid plays. These past two skirmishes have gone very much in their favor. They are looking to stage. Actually, they're ahead in gold at the moment, if only slightly. And this could be the beginnings of the comeback story right now.
It's a big Baron power play. They definitely got a massive injection of gold off all those kills, off getting the Baron. It's a gold lead that is going to continuously grow here in this next minute and a half, 2 minutes while they have this Baron. They should be able to get side lane pressure. They should be able to get mid-tier 1, which is going to break open this map big time. But they have Quokka on the side, and it's currently very dangerous if you get stunned without Yone there.
Oh, and the threshold is committed. Wombat Baby does throw out the Ariel as well, trying to DPS, and it is Mega Gnar. And I think Ball State needs to back off of this engagement. Here is Quokka to lend support, and we can see Silk walking up to this as well, as Purdue is shoving that lane forward. Wombat Baby needs to find a good charm here, is currently just throwing out these Essence Orbs, and it is dealing some serious damage. But the onslaught just continues as that mid tower is whittled lower and lower and lower, and there it goes. A's in the back line is just going to kill Remy right away, and it feels like it is going off. Things are going off the rails here for Ball State. They are just losing so much off of this Baron.
Purdue's got the lane assignments right too. They have the Yone into the Zac. They're just sitting with a 4-man core in mid lane saying, you are not going to jump into this Ivern. You're not going to jump into the Thresh. And this nice solid root there from the Ivern. The Swirl Seed, nope, that's Lilia ability. I forget what Ivern's Q is, but it lands. It roots Ezreal while he has every single sum up. I don't know if he has Arcane Shift. The Mega Gnar goes in, but it's not going to be enough. It's kind of dangerous. Kind of really bold to try and do that on Ari, but they're trying to get the ult out so they can force the end with this Baron. They do a lot of damage. Koka is on the back. Beta and Sealed's going to land, but it's going to be stopwatch from Wombat Baby. He's going to have to go back to the Soul Unbound before he dies. They are going to find Wombat Baby. They have no minions here, though, to take this second tower with. Impale onto the Yone. He's going to be forced to flash away. Iron shields are absolutely massive. The wave is here. They do have time. 4 more seconds on Ezreal, 3 seconds on Ezreal. They need to get these towers. Remy is falling real slow. Silk tries to land on the Soul Unbound, but it's not enough. Pike ult lands onto 2 people, 3 people, but it doesn't kill him because it gets the Meganar. Yuma Yuki's doing a ton of damage on the side. He does not have his Feather Storm. He's going to fall. Never mind. He's going to flash barrier and stay alive and kill the Ezreal who has his flash and barrier. Koga's going to flash to kill him and finish him off. Phantom's the only one left, but he's not going to be enough in the face of Silk and Quokka.
What did I just watch? I thought that was it for Ball State, and they are literally on the precipice of defeat and come clawing back. Oh my God, that is just absolutely insane. Very well played from Ball State. Well played from Purdue too, honestly. Like, that was extremely close. Ball State, however, does have this mid inhib down. They have a Nexus tower down. This is going to be really just almost impossible to defend against, I'd say.
Yeah, it's going to be really hard, but that fight was really fun, but we saw Purdue get slightly ahead of themselves. They might have been able to end if they didn't focus so hard on killing Remy after they killed Wombat Baby. You know, if they focused more on just the towers. They had 4 seconds before Ezreal was up, but they focused so much on trying to melt this Skarner down. They eventually do it, but it might have taken them a little bit too much time. But at the end of the day, they're still up 2k gold. They have the team comp that scales a lot better. They got the inhib, they got the Nexus tower. They have a lot of pressure here in this mid lane now that they can move from mid into side into this dragon. But they might just play for in. I'm not really quite sure what they're doing. They're losing so much pressure in their bot wave. They must think they can end. I think they're getting too far ahead of themselves.
Yeah, they are looking to end here, and I'm just waiting for that trigger to pull on anybody landing a hook. Pike is charging his up. Quilta does not quite find a hook here. The poke coming out from Trump's Log and Mimi is Silk is flanking around that top side, and Purdue is wasting time here. They are going to, I don't think they can end off this. They don't even have a minion wave at the moment, and the hook does land on the Remy. The flay hits absolutely nobody, and the charm does land on the A's in the back, and here comes Redemption Remy looking very, very low.
Oh!
What is that? Remy managing to snare absolutely everybody, but it might not be enough. Wombat Baby going golden with so little HP is managing to DPS, and Silk is in the middle of everybody. Wombat Baby, I don't know how he survived, but he does. And Silk is here, but they are looking to end. Can Silk make something happen? Wombat Baby does manage to regen just a bit of health in that fountain, but the next tower does go down. The Zac passive has been popped. Wombat Baby, can you do it? I don't know if he can. And that Nexus will fall.
We're getting a game 3 here in the grand finals between Purdue and Ball State. That Impale looked like it was going to be the game winner for Ball State. You know, turned the tides of this fight. It landed onto T1 Gumayuki, it landed onto Phantom, and it landed onto Sonkum, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. They just didn't have the damage to deal with it, and this is the power of that Ivern into these very bursty, low DPS comps. And like I'm wrong. I thought it was better to play on 2 lanes, play on mid, play on bot. But
I am wrong too.
They will take that fight every day of the week. Well played there, fight Purdue. And sometimes I guess you just have to trust the cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah, that was honestly incredible. Again, I thought similar. I thought that trying to force an end here wasn't the best play, and it turned out to be a pretty decisively game-winning strategy to do there. Well played from Ball State. I mean, defending the Nexus like that the first time was very well done. But Purdue, they scaled better. They just started winning these fights in the late game. And it all just came crashing down for Ball State here as we are going to be moving on to Game 3. And now the stakes are higher for both these teams.
I think in the history of this LAN event here at Butler, the first best of grand final series went the full distance between Ball State and Purdue Northwest. Last year, Purdue Northwest and IU was a sweep in both the games because it had a bracket reset at the time. So it's fun to see a game 3 here from Purdue and Ball State. And now that means Ball State's going to go back to the blue side where they banned Ivern before, and now they'll have the chance to do it again. And Ivern was definitely a menace in those mid to late game fights and macro decisions because he changes the way you get to play the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was so hard for Ball State to kill anybody with
Yep.
these giant iron shields, and I liked the Zaya a lot. I felt it was doing a bunch, and I especially I feel like Aze's Yone
Yep.
felt a bit cleaner than it has been over the rest of the tournament. Ace has always been pretty solid on Yone, but I feel like a lot of ults in some of these team
Yep.
fights throughout the tournament haven't always landed. But I mean, they were hitting them this time. They were being there when they needed to be. They were lane swapping the stop that Zac eventually when they needed to be. Uh, like you said, they're cooks in the kitchen, and sometimes we just gotta let them do what they know that they can do. Very, very well played from Purdue. I love watching this team draft. I love
Yeah.
watching them play. But you know, Ball State are no strangers to this sort of crushing pressure either. You know, Purdue rose up to the challenge this time, and now that Ball State's back's on the wall, they've done this before. I'm confident they can do it again. But I truly think that coming into game 3, it is anybody's game.
Yeah, absolutely is anybody's game. And as you were talking about A's there, we saw the enemy team Yone and my team Yone in that game the whole time. We saw him miss the ult on everybody near the dragon. We saw him also have massive ults, massive team fights where he found Chumslog in the back line. He was able to kill Ari, Wombat Baby right after the Baron as well. Like he played it really well, but sometimes he also had those it moments. And now with all the pressure on this next game, we got to see which version of A's we see, especially if he goes back towards this Yone that they show a lot of prio on. I'm very interested to see how they change these draft plans now because you have to do something if you're Ball State because it didn't work last game. You know, you left the Ivern up, you banned the Vex instead. It was what? Draven, Gragas, Vex, and then they were able to go Ivern. So it's like you have to make a change now. And now there's so much more pride on the Zaya. Both teams have shown that they want Zaya. I would not be surprised if it's a first pick Zaya here from Ball State.
I honestly am kind of expecting a first pick Zaya. I think it's pretty clear that Purdue is fine letting Wombat Baby have that Ari. I think that might be a bit of a mistake, but you know it worked out for them this time.
Yep.
So I think priority is going to shift to Zaya, especially coming into this game 3. Maybe you don't let Quokka back onto the pike again because there were some pretty strong plays coming out from there. But I'm curious to see, especially how Purdue goes about this because I think, like I said, I think Zaya's really high priority now. But Purdue really likes getting this Yone in as early in the draft as possible. I expect to see Ivern contested either by being banned or by being picked away by Ball State. I don't think they want to face that ever again.
Yeah.
I want to see what the plan is here.
I think Quokka is very, very good at Pike, but Pike himself has some restrictions where if you can manage his early game and his mid game and the map movements that Pike is able to do, he's not a very strong champion as himself. He is a macro oriented, pick oriented team fight champion versus if you can play against him and know where he's at and hit your CC on him, he's kind of easy to kill. So maybe Purdue's like, hey, we can manage this and we could just play smarter League of Legends and let him have his Pike. And that might end up being a mistake if Quokka pops off like we've seen the flashes of in this game. And you're absolutely right. The Ivern is also going to be an interesting development in this draft. I assume Ball State's going to go blue side. They've shown that they really like to first pick the Ari, which now let's say you first pick the Ivern. Are you going to give the other team Ari, or will Purdue then say, you know what, we want you to play Ivern Ari, which is in a very good combo? This draft is going to be very spicy and very interesting from both teams here.
Yeah, and I've been I know that Remy has been practicing Ivern a lot recently, so it's not like Ball State would just be taking this pick just to deny it without having real experience on it. I mean, Remy is a very, very good Ivern player. So it's not like it would be just a horrible idea for Ball State to take this pick away. Or maybe you just ban it away. The name of the game here for this tournament so far has absolutely been focusing on getting bot side strong, and it's being expressed a lot through these jungle and mid picks. The Ahri is always really good at roaming, and then all these jungle picks have been kind of hovering around that bot side, trying to make these AD carries even stronger. So I think we're going to be seeing so much priority placed on Ivern, on Skarner, Zaya. You know, maybe you can throw in some other jungle. I think I've seen Sejuani played once or twice in this tournament, so maybe that could throw an interesting monkey wrench into things. But I think for upcoming draft, I really want to focus on picks and bans surrounding jungle and bot side.
I also think both teams need to stick to their guns. Ball State has been shown to be in draft specifically, obviously in game and what champions you pick is all about sticking to comfort and sticking to your guns. Ball State is we want counterpick support team. And last game they picked it on 4, which allowed Purdue to get counterpick. Picked Zach on 5, which might be a losing lane anyways, so might as well just pick the Zach that you're comfortable on 4 and give your high gameplay performance support, high impact support counterpick. And now they don't have that option where Purdue does. And Purdue has also shown that they're very willing to just pick side lanes blind. It doesn't matter what happens in them, they'll fine with doing it, and getting counterpick support is also going to be a high prio. So it's just going to be a fun little draft with a lot of nuance to it. I think worst case scenario for Ball State would be something like blue side first pick Ahri, give up Ivern, Zaya.
Yeah,
that would be worst case scenario. I guess then you might be able to pick the Yone on 2-3, but then that means the Yone is going top, and is Silk a very good Yone? I'm not sure I've ever seen him play it, so I don't know.
I don't even know if he plays the character at all.
But then you get counterpick top. That's probably worst case scenario. Best case scenario for them is probably just banning the Ivern and getting Zaya first pick, but then you lose the Ahri. I think it's a harder draft for Ball State than it is for Purdue.
Yeah, there's a lot of options available to Ball State, and it's kind of hard to say, you know, which one would be the correct one because there's pros and cons to both. And we were talking a lot about draft, but in game, the pressure is going to be on both these teams here. Purdue can rise to the occasion. Ball State historically can also rise to the occasion. And so I'm wondering, you know, does that mean like maybe both these teams get maybe a bit more frantic in their play? Maybe we see a lot of these, you know, early fights. We got to start snowballing hard right now because I've seen that happen from Ball State before. Or maybe it slows down even more than it has at certain points. So the psychology of these teams, you know, going into this is obviously going to play, I think, the most important part in how this game turns out.
Who deals with the pressure better? You know, this is a do or die game now. Everything's on the line. There's a big trophy in the middle of these teams out there that you could see behind us. They're sitting on the stage back here. The trophy's right there in the middle of them. Both teams won it. You know, Ball State is a very historic program here at Battle for Indiana. They've have a lot of those trophies between Rocket League, Valorant, League of Legends, while Purdue has never won anything here. And low key, I think it might be better for Ball State to take the red side this game and say, okay, if you want to first pick Yone, do it. You're going to give us both Zaya and Ivern, or both Zaya and Ahri. I really would like, I don't know which side, which team is yet. We're going to be in a draft here soon. Can somebody tell us backstage which side is which, please? Is Ball State on blue or is Ball State on red?
I add that.
Yeah, Ball State's on blue because of those bans.
Yeah, those bans kind of sealed the deal. So we got Draven, we got Gragas being banned, we got the Jax and the Fiora being banned. Ivern is no longer in this game, so Ball State have banned it. Ziggs banned it, coming out from the side of Purdue as well.
So then is it Zaya or Ahri first pick?
I'd like to say Zaya. Oh,
Skarner. Okay, so then I think, they're going to go Yone. Lilia Yone? Lilia Zaya. Okay, so they don't think Ball State plays Yone because they're going to play Yone on 3. That is what the gamble is here from Purdue. They want Yone on 3. Does Ball State play Yone?
I don't think you do. I mean, granted, I don't know the specific player performances on Yone, but I think just locking in... okay, I like Ash. I like Ash a lot, actually. I was about to say, I think just picking up Ari and an 80 carry would be pretty solid here. I like the Ash pick a lot. I imagine this is going to be Ari being locked in for the side of Ball State.
It's got to be, right? It's got to be.
Yeah, there's no way it's not from the way they've been drafting. Yep, okay, there's the Ari. So Ash, Ari. I like the Ash pick a lot.
Renekton for Silk. He does like this champion. It is also a little bit of a flex pick, but that means they're going to lose the Ari on the other side of it. And they're just going to go Rakan, so they're going to lose the Yone as well. I don't like going Rakan here. I'd much rather play for counter pick top side. I would really low key. I think this is your Malphite game. You take Malphite into Renekton and you ban Sylas. This is your Malphite game.
I like that idea a lot. I think they're going to stick with the Xayah Rakan, though. I mean, it's a strong synergy, but there's plenty of other engaged supports that work just fine with Xayah. I think locking this in right now. Okay, that is a Xayah Rakan. An interesting choice. I don't think it's necessarily bad, but I think there were a lot better options available.
Yeah, they are going to get to ban the Poppy here and the Ari. I don't hate it, but they already showed their top laner. Why would... I don't hate it. I think they just want to get the Xayah Rakan. They're going to lose the Yone here. They're probably also going to lose the Corki as well because it's the other AD mid that Purdue has shown they want to play. This should definitely be an Ari ban. If it's anything else, I am calling Purdue for win trading.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way this isn't an Ari ban.
It's got to be. Silent. Maybe they're going Malphite.
Maybe they are going Malphite.
If they go Malphite...
Oh,
okay.
no, they are not. Ball State saw through that, and now you lock in Ornn, which... You know, Ornn isn't Malphite. It's a scaling tank, at least. I don't hate it, I guess.
Oh yeah, they messed up. I don't love this draft. I think they messed it up. There's no way. Go Ori, or go Ari. Go your comfort, Wombat. I mean, Ori's fine too. They're both good, but I think you've shown so much comfort on the Ari. Unless you think that Purdue has a matchup into Ari, because they gave you the Ari. Why did they give you the Ari? Is the question here.
I mean, they banned the Sylas while Ball State still had a ban open. They were clearly going to go for the Malphite, and Ball State just saw right through it. I think the game plan for Purdue has fallen apart, at least in terms of draft. And Ash, Nautilus, Leona Nautilus, Rel, not Leona Nautilus, Ash Rel or Ash Leona, I like all of these. I don't think there's a wrong one to pick here. Sure, Ash Leona, that's a great
Is Corky.
volley.
It's just gonna be Corky.
Yeah, you do leave the Corky open, but you gave Wombat Baby Ari. I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm really not a big fan of these draft preparations here from Purdue. I think you just go. You obviously wanted the Malphite. That's why you banned Sylas. So just pick the Malphite into the Renekton on 3. You already saw the Renekton's locked in. They can't change it. I mean, if you're worried about flexing, you shouldn't be. I mean, what are they going to pick? Mordekaiser, Topson, Renekton mid? It's just not a good pick into Xayah. So just pick the Malphite, double ban Sylas, Ari, and then pick support on 5 and blind pick your Corky that you were going to play no matter what. It's from the second Lilia was locked in, we knew they were going Corky.
Yeah.
There's no reason to pick it 5th.
I'm not in love with this. I like Ball State's draft a lot better. I think the Renekton into Ornn lane is going to kind of, again, just like it was with Jackson Malphite, probably not be terribly interesting, but, you know, Silk Funnel's a really good Renekton. You gave Wombat Baby the Ari, so now you have that to worry about, and Ash Leona is going to be pretty difficult for Xayah and Rakan to kind of effectively lane into. Ash has so much range, and, I mean, it's Leona.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Ball State has the better draft here. I think in theory of drafts, if I had 10 robots playing this game, I think Purdue has the better draft. But I think you gave the players, the humans of this, more of what they want. Wombat Baby has shown he wants to play the Ari. We have seen that Ball State wants the counter pick support. Whether the theory and the robots would win on the Purdue draft doesn't take into account that these are human beings playing these games, and you don't want to give them what they like and what they're comfortable and what they're good on. I think you're absolutely right where both these team comps have some options and some ways to play the game, but if you look at the day holistically, you're more happy to get these champions and the way that this game was picked for the side of Ball State.
Exactly. And I I think Purdue can pull this off, but I think this has already been a pretty major misstep in terms of putting a team together. Already I think they're kind of starting off at a bit of a disadvantage. But I mean, I for the past 2 games I've casted for Purdue, I have disliked pretty much every draft they've come up with. So I would be happy to be proven wrong yet one more time, Purdue. But in this case in particular, I think especially giving Wombat Baby that Ari, especially when Ball State didn't lock it in immediately, that is just not a good move.
And I think like I said, I think they have the better draft, but the issue is you also self-counterpick yourself in Corky. If you're already going to pick the Corky, why would you pick it into Ari and self-counterpick yourself? We all knew it was coming from the second you locked in Lilia. Or just lock in Yone on 3 and then ban the Ari. You know, you could have Malphite on 4 with a Silas Ari ban as well. Support counterpick on 5. It's just man, I'm really sad. I know I'm harping on it because I am a draft aficionado. Like, I love looking at drafts. I love talking about them. And I think they're way more important than people give credit to. And I would say this draft is 50-50, and it could have been 75-25 in the way of Purdue.
Yeah. We'll have to see how it.
But they are humans. They're humans.
Exactly.
It's all about how you play the game at the end of the day.
Exactly.
So.
I like Ball State going into this a lot. I think Zaya Rakan, once you kind of get past the initial laning phase, is probably going to be really, really hard for Ash and Leona to deal with.
Yeah.
So that could be a bit of a pressure point for Purdue to really press there. Because I think laning Ash is just okay into these two, but once some PB will get a couple items, once that Rakan gets some levels, I don't think you'll have necessarily a great time as Ash if that Rakan has some smart engages, and in particular if that Lilia has some pretty smart ganks. So again, that could be a pressure point that Purdue focus on. They do like playing to that bot side, and I think this is it's Zaya Rakan. Of course, it's a good bot lane to pick. But again, you have the Wombat Baby Ari.
Baby Ari.
And you have Silk on Renekton. I don't know if Phantom is like a really good Ornn player. So maybe this is a secret pocket pick, but we haven't seen it at all this tournament, so we don't really know what it's going to look like going into this match. There's just a lot of uncertainties here that kind of shake out in favor of Ball State, more or less.
That we think. We haven't seen these players. Like, the other champion we haven't seen is the Lilia, which in theory, Lilia this game can be really good. She mega outpaces the Skarner. She can be 3, 4, 5 camps ahead by level 6, 7, 8. Like, she can be super far ahead of the Skarner. She's going to be able to play around her relatively strong lanes in topside in the Renekton, and then her Zaya Rakan after a couple of levels. The issue is she's into a Ashe, which is going to slow her and make that movement speed a lot harder to play around. They have a lot of CC for her on the side of Ball State as well. But if Eugene is comfortable and confident on this Lilia, which he must be since he locked it in, they knew what they wanted. They knew that it was going to be Skarner first pick, and they knew that they wanted Lilia and Zaya into it. So they got what they wanted. They have to perform now. I think the Lilia is a mega pick here. It can really do a lot of work. It's very good at securing grubs fast. It can take Dragon really quick. So here we go. Grand Finals, Game 3 between Purdue and Ball State starts right now with the trophy on the line.
This is it. We'll have to see it. This is the 3rd time in a row we both expressed some disappointment about how the Purdue draft goes, but they have proved us wrong 2 times. Can they do it again? Meanwhile, this is a pretty classic Ball State draft. Lots of comfort picks, lots of playmaking potential here. So we've kind of tipped our hand in favor of Ball State. But Purdue has proved us wrong multiple times. Let's see if they can do it again. No early game shenanigans this time. Everyone's just going to do the classic 5-point start.
And we have the Captain Flowers train conductor orange skin in the top lane. I didn't really get to see all the skins in this game, but just off that one alone, I think Purdue's winning the skin game, which has to be at least a 1% advantage, right?
I mean, yeah, no, I think Ornn ultimate legitimately hits.
Oh, Renekton is going to try and push him off here. He really doesn't have much. It's more of just a, hey, let's find out where Lilia's starting. Let's see if she's starting Wolves or Raptors. Because, you know, at this point in the game, in League's history, junglers are not getting leashed. They don't need one. So she's starting Raptors or she's starting Wolves, and it ends up being Raptors. It means that they know purely where this Lilia is going to be the whole game.
And a really early engage from Poka, and there's not really much follow-up you have from that Ashe, just a level 1 Ashe, but slowly getting the push onto that wave.
I wonder why Gumayuki took Conqueror instead of Lethal Tempo. I don't know which one is actually better for Xayah.
I would say Lethal Tempo.
I would
in almost
agree.
every case. I'm not sure I agree with that decision at all. I can't think of like any targets you want to be stacking that Conqueror against. I mean,
the raw AD is pretty nice for Xayah, I guess, especially if you're going more of an attack speed build. Maybe he's gonna go like a Kraken Slayer, but he's shown he's wanted Essence Reaver. I don't know. I'm not just gonna trust what he does. He's a good AD carry, a much better AD carry than I am, so he's probably right, and I'm probably just being a hater.
yeah, probably.
Nice trading here from both mid laners. I think Wombat Baby really does know this matchup quite well. I'm not sure how much A's has played of it because that trade is a little bit harder to pull off there from the side of Ahri because of the way it started out, and he still ended up winning out on it. It did cost him a potion though.
Yeah, and it looks like we're going to be seeing pretty slow gameplay. So both these teams sort of know the gravity of the situation, and that Ashe E is going to be so important in spotting out Eugene. Eugene going to be spotted by that hawk shot. And again, really slow gameplay. I'm expecting to see the trigger pull once that dragon spawn gets a bit closer around this bot side of the map. But for now, just farming, just keeping track of the junglers, just getting that scuttle crab early on the bot side of the map, just playing some nice, slow, fundamental League of Legends.
Yeah, and Lilia's going to try and enter this top side to get that scuttle, but she's not going to be able to. It's the strong lane in the Ahri that has pressure and the strong lane in the Renekton that also has pressure. So that's just a double scuttle for the Skarner here, which is not what you want, not ideal. But the good news is, since Lilia does outpace the Skarner anyway, she should be able to make up for that fairly quickly. And as we can see, Remy is going to try and take that pressure mid into the jungle here to contest these Raptors. And did he get them? No, he didn't get them.
No,
No,
not
he didn't
quite.
get
But
them. He might have gotten one little one.
Yeah, maybe he stole a bit of chicken there. Ooh, and Silk Flannel gonna go for the trade. Actually, kind of goes a bit in Ornn's favor there. That grasp providing some nice healing. This dragon is coming in at about 30 seconds. Remy has reset and is now just coming back onto the map. Both junglers playing for that top side first, it looks like, but I imagine they're going to be soon making their way down to that dragon. The early dragon will, there will be a bit of an early dragon scuffle, I imagine.
Eugene is going to take a base here on the ward. I think he delayed his base a little bit too long. He should have just based right after the Krugs, because since he does outpace and since he took his base later, he's going to have enough gold to match the Remy's gold from those double scuttles. Eugene could have moved into the bot lane, got those camps, and then contested the Raptor reset with that extra tempo. But because she walked in to try, took a little bit longer to reset, I don't think she's going to have the chance to contest these Raptors. But this is what we're seeing with the Lilia's faster clear. She was able to do those two camps while Remy got the two scuttles. She's one camp ahead there. She's almost going to be 2-3 camps ahead here after this clear, just in timing. 30 more seconds on the map, 25 more seconds on the map, stuff like that. And because Remy's going top lane here, she should be able to take all his camps bot side. And if this dive does not get pulled off here from Remy, it's going to set him far behind.
Yeah, here it comes. He's got the shield up. Phantom is pretty low HP, no mana, and Silk is immediately going in, is going to get the suppression of the stun. First blood going to Renekton. That should convert into Void Grubs pretty nicely for the side of Ball State. And just as you said, Eugene is already on the bot side camps there, probably looking to convert to a dragon as well.
Yeah, Phantom got a little bit greedy with his base. We knew Remy was there. That's why he's resetting. He just really needs to put his ward down, see if he's in that tri-bush on his way back to the tower. If he shows, he needs to walk all the way back, take a really safe reset so that he can't get his base stopped there, because he just wants to base TP anyways, right? So a little greedy there from him. It could have been the difference in setting Remy behind and letting Eugene get really
Whoa!
far ahead here. He stole a grub. All right, Phantom made up for his death by stealing a grub.
Yeah, not ideal if you're Ball State. Not having those 3 Void Grubs is going to hurt just a bit, especially as Purdue manages to grab that Dragon and the Scuttle Crab down there as well. You do still have 2 Void Grubs, you know, it's not nothing, but it would have been nice to get the full 3.
Gonna lose his 3rd respawn of the Raptors, which is really smart by Remy. A lot of worse junglers would not have taken those, but it is the value of this cross map here that Ball State has shown they're very good at. The only teams that have cross mapped well are the ones here in the grand finals today, and it's not changing anytime soon.
Boca saw the E engage, couldn't quite land it here. Very, very slow-paced bot lane coming out here due to that cross map play here. We do have Boca going in for the engage, and that is at level 6 Ashe. Doesn't quite manage to fully stack her Q there, and Saknam will just simply just hang out. Not a ton you can really do here, I feel like, not unless, you know, you get the double stun with the Ashe Leona.
Yeah, and Gumayuki doesn't have cleanse this game, which might not be a mistake. We'll see how the game plays out. It might end up being something that is a mistake if he can't get out of CC, if he doesn't use his ult timings well. But that does mean that the Ashe and Leona do have a lot of pressure whenever they do get any CC. They're able to make a lot of plays, and Saknam is going to get TP'd here.
That is it. The Ignite has landed. Oh, but Saknam, due to that Rakam ability, is just barely getting out. Meanwhile, up top, Phantom is going to be sending that train rolling in the Silk Flannel. Silk Flannel is going to be forced to pop the ult to get out. Meanwhile, down bot, I don't think this is a dive angle. Are they going to go for it anyway? They're poking down Gumayuchi, and they're just going to go in with the Leona ult and the charm, and I was just kidding. This is absolutely a dive angle. Never doubted you for a second, Ball State. That is a double kill for Chum Slug, as Aze is here to try and get something else, but Wombat Baby will simply ult away.
That's that lack of cleanse right there. It was a great Q flash from Quokka to start that off. Get the stun onto Gumayuki. Follow it up with the solar flare. So Ari was able to get in there and really do a lot to hold down Gumayuki before he could get that ult off when he was already super weak. I believe he died to like 1 Ashe auto as soon as he got out of the ult. But that's where that lack of cleanse comes in. It's really hard to play against Leona without cleanse, and I don't think it's a mistake. Like I said, it depends on how the game plays, but that would be one in the cleanse would have been better marker.
Yeah, it is always an interesting like conundrum of deciding if you want to pick cleanse, because sometimes there's just so much CC that like if you get hit once, cleansing it doesn't matter because there's already gonna be more CC flying at you. So I imagine, you know, you see the Leona Ashe, you think, okay, well, if I ult properly, they don't CC me, and then if I don't ult properly, you know, what's cleanse gonna do?
I'm dead anyways, yeah.
But I do agree. I personally would have taken cleanse into that lane or in that position, but there's a reason why you wouldn't want to necessarily.
Yeah, but this is also a lot of what we've seen all in both the last 2 games from these 2 teams, where Ball State is playing a little bit more aggressive early game. You know, they pick the better early game team comp. They get a little bit of a lead, 1K, 1.5K. You know, they might get some grubs. They might get some dragons. They're going to build a little bit of a lead, and then around that 25, 20-minute mark is where either Purdue has shown to keep their mental and play. While we're seeing a gank here on Silk, the trigger seed is not going to be enough, but the Drowsy is going to come out. The Sands, the Fury of Sands is not going to, it is going to be enough to keep him alive, maybe?
Oh,
it does not. Wombat Baby is here. The charm lands. Nice. Remy's here as well. Corky does not have any help here. The Ashe Arrow is going to miss, but that's going to be a double kill to the Ari here. Nice movement up from Wombat Baby. But this is what I was saying, is where Ball State wins these early games, and then it comes down to whether Purdue can hold their mental at that 20-25 minute mark.
Yeah, and you're getting plates off of mid into Chum Slug's pocket as well. This is a really good start for Ball State. It's looking pretty similar to game 1, where they just suddenly started accelerating, and it's like Flannel going in for the TP to catch that wave is going to be rooted there by Zaya. And Ball State going to be starting on that top side objective. Oh, Silk in a lot of trouble, as the Rakan is going to land the charm and is going to just be a DPS there by Gumayuchi, but will be able to back off. Bit of an adventurous play, I think, from Saknam, but I saw the vision. Off screen, of course, Void Grubs being picked up there by Remy.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of Purdue being a little bit too far ahead of themselves again, which has been a common theme of theirs. Once they got the ult and the flash out of Silk, they could have backed up, moved into the Grubs with the strong Corki tempo, with the Lilia still having ult and being quite strong there. Orin was full health. It would have been a 2v3 for that. They could have absolutely done that. Maybe, oh, we're seeing a Solar Flare here onto Eugene, and he's not going to get the flash off in time to stay alive. It's just going to be a free pick off onto this Lilia.
Yeah, really unfortunate there from Purdue as Ball State aren't really in a position to convert that to a dragon, but it is going to give them a bit more bot side prio. And actually, I might have spoken too soon. I think they are just going to take the dragon off of that. And there we go, just pressure the plates while Remy works on the dragon. But free pick, free flash, like, I'll take it if I'm Ball State.
Yeah, we're seeing some of these draft falters come into play where Wombat Baby is just consistently making plays on the Ahri around the map, always in the right spot, very comfortable on the lane. This guy's Ahri is absolutely insane and was deserving of a ban, and Purdue did not respect it enough to ban it, and now we're seeing some of those fruits come out rotten for Purdue.
Yep, and Ari's got that Malignance now. Ash just finishing that Static Shiv as well, so Ball State coming online with these first items. Actually, most of the characters in the lobby coming on with these first item spikes. I am expecting to see a lot more team fighting coming out as we approach these power spikes, and because Ball State is ever so slightly ahead, it's just going to be a bit harder for Purdue to stop this snowball from rolling, but they are going to try here. Koka is going to be forced to flash. He's looking for that re-engage, gets a nice groove, gets a nice stun. Shumslog is DPSing that Ash T was active, but he is charmed. Gumayuchi is going to ult away, does have that E available, but it is not enough. Wombat Baby is on a killing spree, and the Rakan has jumped to the Dragon Pit, will get out safely. Saknam really not able to do much there.
I'm not sure if Gumayuki thought that the Leona E was going to hit the Rakan or not. He didn't ult early again, and just as soon as you get stunned once, you are stunned forever against this bot lane. As we see Phantom calling the train to try and kill Silk, but I don't know if he has enough damage. Silk is going to flash away. Remy is here. It's flashes all over the top side here. That's 3 flashes between these teams gone top side to try and get a kill for really maybe nothing, maybe the Rift Herald. But those flashes could come back to be a pain not having here in the next 3 minutes for Remy.
Yeah, we see Eugene seeing Remy on the top side is going to be grabbing those bots like cancer. Ball State is here to rotate Jumpslug from the bottom, and Wombat Baby is cutting them off at the top. And the charm does land. You're not sending anybody to sleep there, Lilia. And Saknam is just going to be running away as AZ, as is the rest of Purdue. As the charm lands, the arrow lands, the hook lands, and Jumpslog on a rampage. Purdue overstayed their welcome and paid the price for it.
Yeah, it was just a
Oh,
bad...
no, please. Oh, the Ignite. Yeah, no, you're dead. You're so, yep, goodbye. Well, Saknam was kind of just hanging around in jungle. I'm not sure what the plan was there.
I think the silence from us both right there told us how confused we were as to what was happening behind the thought of that. But it's just one of those things where it looks like Purdue is just slightly more uncomfortable on the game. I don't know if it's the pressure of this grand finals, if it's the champions that have been picked, but they seem just slightly uncomfortable, you know? The Rakan is jumping over a wall right into Ash, has to E back onto Lilia, who is a little bit out of position on the Scuttle, or not the Scuttle, sorry, on the Raptors. We're seeing some fighting going on top permanently. Eugene is here though, but Leona is on her way up. He's going to try and drag this fight out into the Eugene's Lilia. Leona is right there. The ult comes out from multiple members. Renekton is going to get bursted down, but Ahri is not here yet. She's so close. Now Wombat Baby is there with the charm, going to find them all. Going to keep spirit dashing towards them. They're going to try and find AZ, which they do with the Impale, and he's going to fall, and Eugene's going to fall as well. They're all going to fall, and it's so over for Purdue.
This is now Ball State's game to lose. This lead has put them so unbelievably far ahead after that fight. The really only way I can see that Ball State loses this is if they just make some kind of
really egregious mistake. That could not have gone worse for Purdue. Ball State even gets the topside tower off of that. They're going to get the Rift Herald off of that. 3 members of their team have massive shutdowns. Ball State has 14 kills to Purdue's 3.
And Wombat Babies Ari has been a participant in 12 of them. This guy's Ari is insane. He is showing Purdue that it was a mistake not to ban it. It was an ego move that is not paying off, and he is showing that his Ari is absolutely a problem.
Yep, Quokka finding an early engage there. Chump Slug isn't quite in position, and neither is Wombat Baby to really follow up on it, but Ball State should easily secure the Drake off of this.
Yeah, they have so much pressure for the rest of this game. They're so far ahead. They just need to play correct League of Legends.
Quokka, that is a massive stun! The rest of Ball State is running in. The charm will land, and that is a very, very dead Lilia. Why do you need the dragon? You can just take the mid tower. Guma Yuji is forced to flash out the Ignite, taking away that health bar. The Rakan goes down. Guma Yuji goes down as well. Wombat Baby, you need to calm down! Aethy is going to be forced to run away. That middle tower is being wailed on by Ball State. Down it goes. Ball State is going to go pick up their dragon scot-free.
Purdue is going to go home tonight. They're going to open their fridge and they're going to be charmed by Wombat Baby's Ari. They're going to go to bed and lay their head on their pillow and be charmed by Wombat Baby's Ari. They're going to wake up in the morning and they will be charmed by Wombat Baby's Ari. He's absolutely everywhere. Every charm is landing, and it's just what we said. You cannot give this guy Ari, and Purdue did, and Ari is an absolute problem, and Wombat Baby is going to make sure you see that champion in your dreams tonight.
That was just a masterclass on Ari. That was a great dive from all the members of Ball State. I said it earlier, and now I'm just going to reiterate it again. This is absolutely Ball State's game to lose. I truly do not see any way in which Purdue can come back from this.
It is what's that mean? It's a nuclear bomb versus a whooping coughing baby or whatever. Like, Ball State is so far ahead. Their wallets are massive. It's going to be a massive uphill battle here for Purdue, which I'm not going to count them out. You know, they are a very good team. They have a lot of options, but Ball State is not giving us much reason to put any faith in them because they are playing this game so well, so cleanly, and they have full steam ahead, all gas, no brakes.
They are cracking open. They're looking to crack open this mid lane right now. You can see them all lurking over here, just waiting for Quokka or Remy to start this engage. Quokka's ult is going to go wide. Ooh, and Guma Yuji is going to just ult away. Eugene here is going to dash away as well. And that probably would have been a game-ending fight, honestly, right there. But Purdue lives to fight just a little bit longer.
Yeah, they do, but it's not going to last very long. This Baron is up in 15 seconds. I think that Ball State could just melt this thing. They have no worries. They do a ton of damage. There are 2 core items on a lot. Basically, everybody besides the Renekton and the support. Ash is going to melt this. Ari with Leandries is going to melt this. They can start Baron on spawn here and have no worries.
And that is exactly what they're doing. Silk adding that pressure up in the top. And we do have, of course, Purdue trying to get something. They have that Corky down bot lane just to at least get an objective bounty off that tower. It's something, I guess. But Ball State is grabbing the Baron and looking to end the game off of it. You have to contest this. Quokka is here looking for some kind of angle. The TP is coming in from the Corky. This is it. This is the fight Purdue needs to win. And it is going to be a hard one. The Ornn ult goes in, but it is just simply not enough. There's just not enough damage from Purdue to do anything. But Quokka does go down, but the Impale is going to stop Signom right in their tracks. Wombat Baby finally goes down, and I was just, oh my god, Shumslug at the brink of death manages to get a double kill. Wow, that actually was really back and forth. I was not expecting that to maybe not necessarily be the greatest thing for Ball State. Ball State still very much ahead, but that That was surprisingly close.
Yeah, after that Baron, you lost Quokka at the beginning. The coach in me is jumping up and down, screaming, out, 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 out. Just take your Baron and leave. Let Quokka die. But they took the fight, and it looked like it was going to be very, very bad. Chumslog lived on very little health. Ended up getting the 2 kills at the end of that to make that an even good trade for them. They had the right idea, get Baron, but when you're Baron debuffed at the start of that fight, you lose Quokka early. You're losing a lot of cooldowns, a lot of mana, a lot of poke coming down on you. You had to just try and get out, but they took the fight, and they could do that because they're so far ahead. As we see Quokka looking for Eugene here, the slow comes off. Not going to be enough to get any more follow-up CC, though. But now we're just going to see Ball State take this advantage into these side lanes, 1-3-1, maybe 1-4, something along that. They're just going to put pressure in all these side lanes and really just squeeze the life out of Purdue.
Yeah, Purdue had their chance there, and they did at least slow things down just a little bit. Ball State couldn't really end off that Baron play. Oh, but they might try to end off this. The arrow connects. Quokka going in. All right. I might have spoken too soon.
Rakan is a very slippery champion. He can run around.
Ball State's trying to make something happen here. Eugene is going to be stunned, but that sleep is active on Silk if she wants to pop it. Doesn't look like she's going to, however. Ball State pressuring this top side very, very heavily. Unable to really find a pick or engage. As I said, that Quokka is going to land that stun, is going to land that hook, is going to be knocked airborne. However, here comes the sleep. Here comes the train. It does land. Quokka will go down. And maybe they are listening to you. They just let Quokka die. They're getting out. They're getting out.
I don't think you need to let Quokka die there. I think they're playing a little bit messy. I think they see the light at the end of the tunnel, and they're running for it as fast as they can, but they're just stumbling a little bit towards it. They're going to get to this finish line eventually. They just need to slow down. You don't have to play too recklessly, You have to just play good, clean league. You have the advantage. You are really far ahead in this race. Don't celebrate before you pass the finish line. So just slow it down a little.
This dragon fight, they are playing it a bit slower, just waiting for Quokka to show up, perhaps, or Remy to start that engage. Silk is going to pop the ult, and he's just going to start fighting on the dragon immediately. Here comes the Orin, and oh, that is a huge knock-up onto the dragon. Well, my baby will get the pick, and as Remy will get that Cloud Drake. Purdue gains nothing from this except death. Yet another charm landed by Wombat Baby. Does he ever miss? I don't know. And Ball State gonna run it down mid, gonna crack that base wide open.
He's hitting so many of these charms, I'm starting to forget Purdue players' names because their names are being replaced with the words charmed. They are always charmed. This Ari is hitting everything. He got Eugene on the back line there with the help of the good CC from Silk and Quokka, the Ash Arrow from Chumslog and Silk was really big to set up the Ari to get on the back line, kill Eugene. Massive impale from Remy there to continue this fight, allow Ari to just get all this damage in. And that's not even including how much damage Chumslog is doing. He's 3 items as well. It's obviously not as flashy on the Ash as it is on the Ari, and it's not as easy to see as it is to see the charms, but these guys are all playing incredibly good League of Legends here. The impales are great. The Renekton's hitting the right people. The Leona's in the right spots. Chumslog is ditching out a ton of DPS. Ari's in the back line. It's just very hard to play as Purdue when everybody is clicking on all cylinders for the side of Ball State.
Yeah, and Ball State, they're now sitting on that Sol point. They have pressure in every single lane. They are all so strong. Remy actually has yet to die once this game. I mean, it is just looking so dire for Purdue. I keep saying it, it's Ball State's game to lose, and with every fight, Ball State is just making it, they're running it straight toward that finish line, like you said earlier. And with that mid-inhib down, things only get harder for Purdue from here on out.
And we're just going to constantly see this pressure applied to these lanes. Once you have mid-inhib down in League, it's really easy to play on the side lanes. You just currently always have mid-pressure, so you can easily move from side lane to side lane, mid to bot, mid to top, mid to top, mid to bot. Like, you have so many access points into these side lanes, so it just makes it really easy to play for these tier 2s, and that's exactly what you're going to see. Remy and Wombat Baby got the top tier 2. I expect them to move to mid lane, get that pressure mid, and then everybody move bot lane into this bot tier 2. They're playing very good, clean League of Legends here.
Yep, the macro is impeccable from the side of Ball State. We're going to be seeing Remy and Wombat Baby going for those resets. The Baron is coming up in about 15 seconds, and I don't think there's any way that Ball State doesn't take it.
Yeah, they're just going to take the Baron, play on these lanes again. They have a 10k gold lead. Maybe they'll play it slow, get pressure mid, play it correctly, get the vision down. They should obviously play it correctly, but they're so far ahead, they can have a slight misjudgment and errors here and there, and it's not going to be that much of a difference. They could definitely play it fast if they want to.
Yep, and we're already getting some contact here at this Baron. Purdue knows how important this Baron is. We're entering the mid game here, and Ball State is just so much stronger. As Purdue lurking around this Baron, but I mean, there's just no way for them to get in. We do have that TP available for Phantom, but Croca is just waiting for an engage. Purdue is forced out of their own jungle. They're stuck in mid, and Ball State's starting the Baron right now.
And they could just melt this down. They should really start hitting it and force Purdue into them. They don't have to finish it. They can posture around it, fake contest this Baron if they want to. And as soon as Purdue shows up with the Ash Arrow,
the Ash Arrow lands. The Orn Horn is coming out, but nothing happens. Saknon was the first to fall. Incredible impale from Remy. Wombat Baby on yet another killing spree. That is a massive sleep on the Ball State, but nobody's there to follow up. Phantom goes down. Wombat Baby is sneaking a nice double kill there, and that will be game. Ball State will be taking first place here at Battle for Indiana, and they will be doing it with style. TP coming in, red turret going down.
Another charm, just another charm. Wombat Baby charms the other team into second place as he gets his trophy, and finally gets his trophy, because I think they've been runner-up a couple years in a row, right?
I know last year Ball State didn't get it. I don't know about the year before it.
I can't remember who was runner-up that first year here, but with that, Ball State is the winner of League of Legends Battle for Indiana 2024 LAN event. Congratulations to Ball State. I don't know if we do MVP awards. I don't think we do, but I'm going to award one to Wombat Baby for that series. Those 3 RE games were, even in the loss, absolutely incredible. He played really well. He was obviously, everyone on Ball State played well. Silk was really strong in the top lane. Remy was always in the right place. Bot lane is incredibly good at League of Legends. And Wombat Baby was just the shining star of this series. He gets his comfort pick that we were saying, ban this, and he popped off. Got to give him my MVP. I'm sure they will have their discussions in this for years to come when they talk about this, and probably all of them are going to think they played the best, because that's just how the league ego is. But Wombat Baby, you have my considerations for this game, even though it might not mean too much. And to Purdue, congrats on runners up. I mean, you guys played very, very good games. You came from the lower bracket. You had a little bit of a heartbreaker here to lose in that fashion, but keep your heads high. You guys have a long year ahead of you with the rest of your school year, NACE leagues, Aegis leagues, NECC, whatever you choose to do. You guys are going to succeed in if you just keep your heads up and keep trying to play your own game. You're incredibly fun to watch. Thank you to both teams for coming out today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you to both teams. Thank you to everyone who came out here to Battle for Indiana. This was very fun to watch. Well played, Purdue. And again, another congratulations to Ball State. And I know there's no MVP, but it's probably going to go to Wombat Baby for me too. Yep. Very fun to watch. A masterclass on Ari. But of course, all of Ball State did incredibly well this series. So once again, congratulations.
Yep,
and
congratulations.
Nothing further from me here.
Yep, I think all of us here at Butler are charmed as we sit here in our chairs right now, because Wombat Baby is everywhere. They will be getting the trophy here on stage, I believe behind us right now. They are being awarded that trophy. With that, thank you again to everybody for watching, everybody for coming out, everybody for casting, everybody for producing, everyone for just having a good time, anybody watching. Thank yous, thank you, thank yous. It's been a beautiful event here at Battle for Indiana. Butler, Indianapolis 2024. Thank you again, everyone who put it on. Have a good night, and we'll see you tomorrow for Rocket League and next year for League of Legends.
Absolutely. Have a good night, everyone.
But I see you all the time. Big shit, say that might think, but I see you all the time. Big say that might think, but I see you. Say that big shit, say that might think, but I see you. Say that big shit, say that might think, but I see you all the time. Big shit, say that might think, but I see you all the time.
Thank you for watching. For more updates, follow the Butler Esports socials at Butler Esports.